Welcome back to Renascence. It's been a little while.
Hi, Renascence. How's it going?
Couple of weeks. We've been in downtime, so there hasn't been a ton happening. I'll be 100% honest. I don't remember everything that we covered last session. I want to say that was the house reveal, if I'm not mistaken. Was that last session?
Yeah.
Didn't I think that I wanted somebody to write down that I was going to do something because I was going to forget? Because I did forget.
Well, I forgot too, so I couldn't tell you.
I forgot to remember what I shouldn't forget.
I packed up my notebook on accident, so I haven't been able to take it up for a while. Which reminds me, what session are we on?
121.
121.
Yes.
Okay.
We're getting there.
As far as I remember, last session was Noelle's conversation with her dad, house reveal, Burberry poking at the evil entity with sending over and over again.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
And wedding plans with Adlar, Jade, Noelle, Aloran. I think that's everything that happened last week or a month ago.
Trying to remember, yeah, because it was like, was there something in between those? Was there another session between that? But I think that was last session, wasn't it?
And I think it ended with Noelle giving Burberry her necklace. That was the last thing I remember happening in that session.
Well, thank you for the recap, because I'll be honest, I did not have this. A super clear memory.
Not very flavorful, but it's efficient. There you go.
Yeah, we got there. As far as the date, we are currently picking up on Solaren the 56th. It is morning. It is a brisk February morning in Freeport. Any questions before we get started, or do we just want to yield the floor? You guys want to do some stuff today? What's going on?
I have one more downtimey thing, and then I'm done.
Go for it.
Okay.
So I think when Aloran and Adlar got engaged, that was a few weeks ago, right?
That was like a few days ago, I think.
Well, that was before John's got his weapon, so it actually would have been.
Was it? Okay, so maybe like a week ago.
Yeah.
Aloran would have probably gone to a jeweler.
Okay.
And she would be crafting a neck.
Okay. Any particular specs on this necklace?
Magical?
Is it going to be magical? Is it just going to be a piece of jewelry? What do you want it made out of?
Oh, if I could get a necklace of it's the common item where if you go down the parapet of health or something.
Periaptive wound closure.
Yeah, so if he dies, he comes back up.
That is an uncommon attunement item, but...
Does Adler have 3 attunements?
You've got his character sheet.
I didn't think that was it.
You just keep collecting NPCs, I'm realizing. It's happened in both campaigns.
I like...
Look, people like their pets, okay?
Yeah. Leave me alone.
She has another ranger character in Tomb on Wednesdays.
I got nothing. I thought there was some variety in there. I didn't know you selected a very particular type of pet.
Specifically ranger boys.
China's got a type.
Oops. I think overall it's just gonna be probably a very oceany neck. I'll look up for some inspiration of what I'm gonna make, but I'll get back to you. But she's working on that. I just want that to be noted.
All right. If it's a magic item, it's going to cost you 600 gold.
Okay.
So, plus whatever gem requirements you have for it. If it's going to be a diamond or whatever.
Good luck with that one. Diamonds are hard right now.
Diamonds are in, they are in short supply. Other gems, probably less so.
If nobody dies at the end of this Burberry, you could just start selling your diamonds. You've got a whole supply now at this point.
I kind of like.
I mean, I have enough diamonds to cast resurrection twice. That is not a ton, so I will probably hold on to those, if only so that if anybody dies in my after campaign notes, I'm okay.
We've got a 99-year window to make sure that nobody's dead forever.
Exactly.
I have a very small retcon that I remembered earlier.
Okay.
At the end of Noelle's conversation with her dad, Sandy gave Noelle a tip, and said like, "Hey, I heard there's a bunch of boats leaving Lyther's shore." Do you remember that?
Right, I do. If I'm remembering the conversation correctly, she was saying that there was a large movement of ships across the ocean to the north. They were leaving the Samores, I believe it was, if I remember correctly.
So, yeah,
and kind of heading out to open sea.
Not 100% sure how specific Sandy got with it, but she indicated there have been a lot of ships leaving ports recently, and that was kind of weird. And Noelle was like, "Well, I'm sure the Eastern Alliance knows if there's boats," but she would have gone and told them. I never explicitly said it, but she would have passed that tip along, just in case it ever becomes relevant, that they would know that.
Yeah, I think the Eastern Alliance would be able to clue you in. They went ahead and moved on some of those safe houses that you guys tipped them off to.
Oh.
Back in Chaser, you guys picked up a list, more or less, of locations.
That was the teleportation circles?
Yeah. And they figured it was probably safer to move quickly versus waiting to hear back from you guys if you guys wanted to do it, just because, it's one of those time-sensitive things.
We were gone for a month.
So, they jumped on it, and they got some good, they gained some ground. They were able to disrupt a few pretty sizable-looking production facilities that had been set up with a lot of captured mage-rights and craftsmen. But there were just as many that had already been largely emptied out, and a couple that had been trapped. And they'd kind of been tracking since they started these stings, these raids. There had been a lot of movement across this region of the ocean with ship traffic largely kind of vacating the ports. And it's hard to say who's on what side in a lot of cases. And, these lines is doing their best to try and curb whatever influence Lasharok's faction has. But there's only so much that they can do. There's only so many places they can be at once. And not everyone who's leaving is leaving to join pirates. A lot of them are fleeing. They hear word that terrible things are coming, and they do not want to be up against the rocky shore when that thing comes to bear.
Right.
So there's definitely been a lot of people who have sort of been heading further north outside of the Halan to warmer waters, away from this potential disaster.
Okay.
So that's been kind of going on for the past month while you guys have been away. Also, the whole Daggermore assault and takeover happened, but you were partially involved.
Do you have a teleportation sigil for Montalban?
Sorry, you're talking to me? I was distracted.
Yes.
Let me check my book. DM?
Montalban would be one of the islands that has a sigil,
Oh,
yes.
look at that, I do.
Possible.
Sure.
Just for like a day.
Yeah, okay. What's going on?
I'm out of squid sickles.
Is that gonna take you a whole day?
Well, no, but I figured since we were there anyway,
Spend the day there?
you could also check out your land property?
I should probably check in on that at some point. Sure, yeah, we can stop by Montauban. I at some point did want to gather the Lost Emerald so we could actually talk about our next productive steps, but we want to start with a quick trip to Montauban, that's fine.
Squid sickles.
What are we doing on Montauban?
It's
Squid sickles.
It's literally squid sickles.
Okay.
Does
that's-
anyone remember the name of the guy that sells the squid sickles?
Oh, I have it. I have it
Squiddy?
written down.
It's
No,
not
no,
Squiddy.
no, no. I have it written down.
Squilliam?
That would have been a great choice, but it's not that either.
Okay.
Squunky?
Cirque Scuds.
Skirk?
Kirk, that's right.
Cirque Scugs.
Oh, Cirque.
SURK. Or at least I spelled it. Cirque
Did
Scuds.
you just mash your keyboard, Blood?
I think that was a random name. I honestly do.
And I will
I thought that was the name of
warn
the guy who gave me the banjo.
Mr. Scuds the day before to have a squid pickle supply ready for me to purchase today.
All right. Supplies being what they are right now, it's going to be 14 copper pieces per. So,
All of them.
okay. We'll say he's got.
I warned him ahead of time, so keep that in mind.
27.
Cool.
You
I will
are
put this.
stocked up.
I am stocked up, and I'm probably gonna eat like half of them in the next.
So
2
3 gold, 7 silver, 8 copper.
3 gold, 7 silver, 8 copper. 3. Hold on. 3 gold, 7 silver, 8 copper. You said?
3 gold, 7 silver, 8 copper.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool.
All right. Anything else on Montauban while you're there?
I mean,
Did you want to check on your property?
Yeah, so the way I remember leaving this off was Noelle essentially gave the bank the ability to bid on and purchase land in her name. Like, she's like, she appointed someone like, you are my representative here because I'm not here all the time, and I'm sure that land sales on Montauban are going to take place on Montauban once people realize that the monster is gone. So, keep on top of that. I think I told them to let me know if they bought anything, and they haven't, but I'm going to assume that that's something that could just have happened off camera.
Yeah, I would say. Was there a limit to how much you were willing to buy?
I wouldn't want to spend all of my money. Let me check how much money Noelle actually has at this point. Because I've never deducted any major amounts just because I don't spend a lot of money. Let's see. How much land can you get for like 10,000 gold?
A pretty considerable amount of land, I think.
Noelle
We'll
owns
call
the
that. I'm going to be a landlord now. God no.
How much could it cost? 3 gold?
It's 1 acre. How much could it cost? I feel like that would have been the limit, probably. She would have needed a lot. She would have really wanted approval if she was going to spend that much. But, she's like, here's a budget to kind of start, poking at. Because that was like right after we got whatever Pirate Lord's treasure. So we had a lot of money at that point.
That's true. So I'd say mooring land's probably not too terribly expensive. So you're probably looking at like 100 gold an acre. That would come out to 10,000. Is that 1,000 acres? 100 acres? 100 acres.
100 acres of land.
That's the size of a small city.
Need
About 100 football fields. worth of land.
I don't know if Noel needs that much land.
So, I mean, the thing is, the land that's going up is like basically everything that's south of mooring is unclaimed, largely. So it's just kind of up for grabs.
Ask about that. Do you have to buy land that's like not in city, or can you just like build stuff on it and be like, yeah, this is my property now? Or would you need to talk to somebody to say like, this is officially my land?
Yeah, there's definitely property lines that are being drawn up over the course of the months following you guys saving mooring. I'd say it's not a very fast process, just because word's gotten out that mooring is safe now, but like mooring's been sketchy for more than a century. Like people aren't like rushing to safe, you say? I believe that 100%. There's definitely a lot of superstition and skepticism about it still, so it's kind of slowly getting out that people.
So what I'm hearing is that the land will still be pretty cheap.
Yeah, 100 acres or 100 golden acres, not bad.
How many acres was I able to get?
100.
100? To be fair, I just googled this. The average farm in the United States is 450 acres. So it's not the most insane amount of land.
Farms are pretty big, though.
It's a decent chunk. It's an estate.
It's a small farm.
It's a small estate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I think
It's a 2,000 by 2,000 square foot parcel.
Yeah, we'll say that Noel buys. How about 2 50-acre chunks? Just because I don't think I really need 100 for one piece of property. That way, I can have one in case I want to do something else with it, or sell it on my own for in the future, whatever.
However you want to divide up your property, that is totally fine.
Sure.
I guess the real question then is just location. It's like, where on mooring would you want to have purchased this?
I will think about that. I mean, the specifics, like you said, don't really matter right now, but
okay.
How much money I spent does kind of matter, so I will deduct that.
Instead of the Perriot, Johnny?
Huh?
Instead of the Perriot?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the other one's 15.
Gotcha.
Oh, dumb question.
Mm.
Do we all have wills?
Do you?
Man, I don't know. Does Noel have a will?
I definitely do, because I had a whole
She see how many diamonds you've got.
I
Does she
feel like
need a will?
I feel like after we went to the bank after Monty Vaughn, I feel like a Lord would have been like, I might die.
I feel like after...
If you guys are all dead, there's not going to be anyone to leave your stuff to.
If we die, Lasharog probably wins, so... I don't know if this will is going to really mean a lot.
Well, no. You're assuming that we all die. I'm assuming that just I'm gonna die.
Okay.
I mean, in a worst case scenario where one of us or several of us get eaten by the Leviathan, I suppose that would be where wills would be useful, because we don't have a way back from
Historically,
that.
it's probably going to be me.
Just
died
don't
like
get
every
close, Barnaby.
combat.
Just don't get close.
I tried that, and then I got shot out of the sky.
I think Noelle would have written her will after Aloran blew her up on the ship.
Hey, I threw you out of the ship. I pushed you out of the ship before I blew it up, okay? I tried.
You did cushion me with your body, basically.
Yeah.
You're like, get down!
You wouldn't have to worry about all the explosion damage. Just
The
worry
number
about
of
the
times Noel
gravity.
has been thrown fucking flaming out of the sky towards the air.
That's happened a lot.
Is
I've
it-
lost
is it
track.
very-
Maybe my
It's
memory.
happened twice.
My brain just remembered a quote from a TV show that's like, "No, I've had enough. I'm tired of being thrown off stuff."
This happens one more time. Okay. Specifics not important. Day on Monty Bun complete.
Yep.
Okay.
And now I have
So-
20. Wait, but you said 27? 27 squid sickles?
27 squid cycle.
Yay!
All right, so morning of the 56th, back to the present. Lost their bolts assemble for breakfast and have a discussion.
Family meeting.
I have 19 skill pickles left.
Before the discussion, before we really dive into this, is gonna be my last actual thing. So Lauren, probably if you guys go to Montalban, she'll go to Feral with Adlar. Again, yep.
Yeah.
And then she'll go to the beach, and she is going to give him a necklace.
The necklace.
The necklace.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, she'll just do it on the beach or something. And be like, we're really stoned, but I'm supposed to give you this when we do get engaged, and she'll give him the necklace. Probably you're used to rings, but I can't wear rings because of my fins.
I hope you
Right, actually, that makes a lot of sense.
About how this necklace was passed down for your great-great-grandpappy. Like...
No, so she'll have like a kind of had a little customization, so it'll be like this crystal, like a larger crystal orb, and it'll look like the ocean in it, like there's sand, and then it has different layers of water, so it looks like the ocean.
Cool.
Inside the crystal orb, and then surrounding it will not be like the generic triangle shark teeth, but more of the angular long ones, and it'll be on a gold chain.
Okay.
It'll be national fan. And it is magical, so now you can swim with me and keep up.
Oh. Well, look at that as he starts putting it on. I feel swifter already. Well, shoot, since we're trading jewelry, he'll start undoing his own, just all kinds of teeth necklace. Leopards and tigers and wolves and sharks, and it's just jangly teeth. He just hands it to you. It's an even trade. It doesn't make you swim faster, but
Well,
I've always thought of it as a good luck charm.
Well, you've always collected them, so. Yeah. And she's like, all right, let's go tell your parents. Now it's official.
Oh, no. Wait. Can we enjoy this moment a little bit first?
Fine.
All right. So, officially engaged now.
Emphasis on the fish.
Yay.
Oh, fish.
Oh, fish.
Oh,
The fish is a fish.
Okay, back to the present. Morning of the 56th. The Lost Emeralds are having breakfast. Everyone's got a bowl of gumbo. What are we talking about?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Barnaby, excellent work on the gumbo, as always.
Thank you.
Whatever happened to those gumbo bars you used to make? Do you still make those?
Yeah, you want one?
I'll stick with the fresh gumbo right now, but good to know you still have those. You were muted, Kat, or we didn't hear that.
Well, I'll take one, yes.
Careful there, Dance.
I know.
What a strange warning. I figured it was probably time we started talking about doing stuff again. We've been kind of lounging about for a while now. Not that we didn't need it. And Burberry, I know that you've started considering this whole Hallow Veil ritual thing more seriously at this point.
It seems like it is time.
It does. I feel like, based on my understanding of kind of what the Cardinal Tarian told us last time we were in Hallow Veil, feels like this is going to be an all-hands-on-deck type of problem to solve, and the more people we have, the higher chance we have to succeed. So, if you all are able to, I guess, set aside the time here, I think we're going to need the whole team for this one. And I'd be willing to start as soon as today, if you're ready, Burberry.
as ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. Well, assuming I get the affirmative from the other three, I think we will probably head to Hellvale today then.
Yep, all good.
Sure.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Me.
Teleporting or tree walking? What's the plan?
I don't have to use a spell slot if we teleport, so.
All right. Yeah, so you guys head down to Fort Franco. You take the teleportation circle in their underground transport bunker they've got under the keep, and find yourselves spirited away across the land, deep into the Verdant Vale. And as you surface, kind of stepping out into the Alliance Fort on the outskirts of the city, you are again struck by this pristine beauty all around you. These towering mountains that kind of like run north to south on either side of this wide, expansive valley in which this city on a hill sits, centered, literally glowing with divine light that kind of issues up from the massive conjunction circles etched into the streets. And as you set on your way down the dirt path towards the city, you find yourselves passing by the fallow fields of the various farms that lie along the outskirts of the city, the edge of this wide, deep gray river, just kind of shards of ice still kind of floating along the banks here and there, a few piles of snow this far inland, more common to see it here than it is out in Freeport. Definitely cooler weather out this way as well. Sky's clear, but the air is cold, and the wind definitely cuts through you as you make your way to the city. But it is not a hard walk, it is not a long walk. Before too long, you guys find yourselves passing into this dense, very brightly lit from beneath cityscape that is Hallowvale, and make your way up the hill, winding through the streets to reach the central sort of conclave presence here at the heart of the East Diocese.
As we're walking up, we tell Burberry, hopefully, before we leave this place, that light won't bother you so much.
You mean daylight?
Well, I remember last time we were here, you were making a big stink about how bright the city was.
I am forgetting because my brain is like, wait, was I drunk? Like,
Was I hungover when we came to church last time? I don't remember.
I don't know. Maybe Plet in his description compared it to the sunlight, like it was as bright as the sun or something, and you were like, "Oh no, it's even worse here."
well, I've had the glasses made since then. Less sensitive.
Ah, well. I imagine you won't need the glasses by the time we're done here.
One can hope.
That's all. We go in.
Okay. Yeah, so stepping into the diocese campus, you can see directly ahead of you there is the sort of central temple, this very tall stone, heavily detailed building that you recognize as the Hall of Shrines. Off to your right, there is a more sort of palatial, kind of expansive, sort of living structure, which you remember is where you met with the cardinal and his quarters there, the little palace. Towards the rear of the campus, there is a very tall white tower that is topped with this very elaborate sort of like crystalline observatory or conservatory-looking structure at its peak that is just kind of refracting sunlight like a prism in every direction. And closer at hand off to the left, the Ardent Athenium, the archive where you guys spent the day doing research and borrowing books from various junior archivists, one in particular.
I remember that guy.
So yeah, where are we heading?
Track down somebody and ask him to point us toward Cardinal Tarian's office, or where we might find him.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you flag down one of the brothers of the cloth here as they kind of walk by, gesture, wave to you, and they'll point you towards the little palace. They'll say the Cardinal probably taking lunch right now, so you're welcome to pop in, say hello.
Sure.
Many thanks.
They'll nod and be on their way. So, heading inside, you would be able to eventually kind of wind your way back towards that sort of upper story apartment, that long hallway, kind of lined with doors, towering vaulted ceiling. And you would recognize immediately, like there's, damn it, cat. Not you, cat, the actual cat.
Figure. It's like what I do unprompted.
Not you, it's that one over there.
The shitty one.
The shitty one.
That's all cats. You need to be more specific.
That's our cat, this one specifically in the room, staring at us now. You would recognize the Cardinal's quarters, the door to his apartment. At the front of the hall, there are, a relatively small, heavily armored group of guards standing at the ready, kind of barring passage deeper into the building. And as they see you, they, kind of customarily close rank. And as you approach, one of them steps forward to ask, it's like, "Would you state your business with the Cardinal, please?"
Can I go?
I'm Burberry. And we have an appointment.
They look to each other. It's like, we weren't notified of an appointment. Check with the Cardinal. He'll send somebody from this posse behind them into the door. And
I guess technically it's not an appointment.
It's more of a standing appointment,
Standing appointment would make more sense. But either way, they should know who I am by just...
They are just kind of staring at you with their, pole arms in hand. Hey, no, get out, sir.
Were they talking to Burberry? Get off the sandwich counter, sir.
Okay, I'll be right back. He's like climbing things he shouldn't be climbing.
Oh, I was thinking more like get off the other kobolds.
Oh, because they're stacked on top. Get down.
Yeah, away, go away. Go.
They just take a broom and start shooing Burberry out of it. I thought it was time for this quest, apparently not.
So you would see one of the guards break off. They would head into the Cardinal's quarters, and less than like a minute later, you would hear his voice saying, "Oh, Brother Burberry!" And he's, stepping out and saying, "Make way, make way, make way," as he's waving his hands and kind of parting the guards to create a path. And again, before you...
I hope they have who the fuck is this guy look on it?
To their credit, they seem fairly nonplussed by this. They follow the orders immediately and just kind of stand at the attention, just watching and waiting. But the Cardinal is dressed in relatively simple red robe today, and you can see the chain around his neck and some faint grizzle on his chin. He looks pleased to see you. He extends a hand to shake and says, "It's been a while, Brother Burberry. I was afraid when I hadn't heard from you recently. You might have grown cold feet. Please come in.
I was very... Oh, well, we did have pretty...
and from the inside of the cloak,
I was really anxious So I decided to pick out and have all of the things that I liked one last time. Oh, the chewing was amazing.
Well, if you're full, do you won't mind if I finish my meal, please? But come in. He'll gesture for you to follow him back into his quarters. There's a long table by the window where he's got, at one end, there's a decent number of plates that he's been picking at. There's a book open next to him, and he closes that, takes a seat, gestures for each of you to sit down, and kind of resumes his meal. Says, so have we have we given any further thought to this prospect, the ritual?
Yes. I would like to go through with it whenever you're available to do so. You are a rather busy man, I imagine.
We can certainly make time to get you on your way. Give me a day, and I can have the necessary implements and chambers prepared. I'm pleased to hear that you've come around. That is, it's not a small ask, I understand, and I know it is a daunting prospect, but I am eager to see this set right for you.
Thank you. Sorry to disturb you so early. Do you want us to come back another time? Or?
No, by all means. As I said, there's plenty more if you're hungry. Since you're here, and I haven't really had a start to my day yet, probably the best time I have for us to actually talk about it before we get to it tomorrow. I suppose, what does your schedule look like in the near future here? Do you have any engagements, plans for the next week?
Kill Lasharok? I mean, sorry.
Well, we did come to Hollowvale specifically for this.
Of course. It can just be a time-consuming process, is all.
I imagine it will also be quite tiring. Are there any special preparations that I'm going to need to make?
Nothing.
Like, don't eat for 8 hours, or
No.
Only water today.
The only real
only holy water
decision to be made is who you intend to bring with you. It is not an easy task, you understand, and there is a balance to be struck in terms of how much aid one brings. The more people you bring, the more unstable the ritual can become, but it is a very, very difficult thing to do alone. I would not recommend that by any means.
Is 5 in total, including myself, a good number?
5 is doable. 10 might be pushing it. But if the 5 of you are prepared for this, then have you read up on the subject? Is Adlar here?
Yes.
Adlar is here. Okay, the 6 of you then.
I didn't know if Adlar was counting as a participating or not, so.
It is obviously to your benefit that you have a very strong personal connection with the folks who are to join you in this ritual. The stronger the better, obviously. As this is dealing with matters of the soul and the mind. Have you had much opportunity to read up on the subject? Have you been able to find anything? Honestly, I'm not sure the Temple of Viridia actually has much material on the rite.
Share any and all information that I have gotten to at this point. Which is, I don't think I've been rolling very well, so it's probably not much more. And if it is, it's...
Not sure.
Yeah.
Well...
I did make an attempt, but it would seem Hollowvale continues to be one of the most well-stocked.
as it probably should be. But well, the ritual, formerly known as the ritual of heraldic binding, we did at one time refer to it as the rite of the divine locus. Are you terribly versed in the structure of the soul, Burberry?
D20?
And it could be Arcana or religion check.
Arcana or religion, you said? No,
Yeah.
it's the same roll. So that's a 16.
16. Okay. You know that there's a few competing models to this, but the one that the Conclave ascribes to, for the most part, is that there is sort of a 3-part nesting layer structure to the soul. There is the outermost layer, which is the psyche. It is the part of you that connects the mind to the physical body and to the more spiritual, more deeply layered portions of your essence within the soul. There is the memory, which is sort of a composite of your eternal essence with all of the experience that you've accrued over the course of your life. And at the very core of it, there is the spirit, which is the wellspring of your being. It is conceptualized as being sort of a pure, essential thing, indivisible, and constantly generating spiritual energy, right? And recount that for Terry and Hugh not long. It's like, good, okay, so you are relatively well versed. So, to the best of our ability to divine, there is what's called the locus. It is a passage from the core, from the spirit, all the way through the rest of the soul. It is through that passage that your spiritual essence, every decision you make, every impulse that you act upon generates a certain measure of force, of thought, of intent, of fundamental essence. This connects you to the astral, to the wider consciousness of the cosmos. And that locus, that passageway, in folks like yourself, a herald, is particularly large, open. Yep. You, in the course of this ritual, will need to find some way of exercising control over that passageway. You will need to either envision and manifest a control of some kind, or otherwise forcibly narrow or shut this passage. That is your best shot at starving out Koral, who it would seem has taken hold of your soul to some degree or another and has been funneling your spirit to himself and to himself alone, presumably. If he's starved out, he has nothing to benefit from by continuing to maintain that grip. And in due course, he is, in all likelihood, going to relinquish that hold. After which, reestablishing it will be very, very difficult again. So long as you did not make direct contact with him again. So, what we're doing with this ritual is that we are we're performing a sort of inverted astral projection. Rather than
An astral rejection.
an astral
It's not me.
An astral injection.
yes, closer to that, I think. We are not pulling your spirits, your souls out of your bodies, casting them into the astral. We are bending your souls inwards to your soul, Burberry. It's a difficult enough thing to do alone. Easier with help. And I, as well as the chief archivist and the head priest, the Hall of Shrines, the head arcanist at the Crystal Tower, we will all be present to initiate the rite. We can get you in. After that, however, it is entirely up to you, and it could take a while. I cannot speak to what you will find walking the surface of your own psyche, but I would be prepared for anything and everything that is up there to be laid bare for the folks coming with you. The more at ease you are with that, the less volatile the experience overall will be for all involved.
To clarify something. So us completing this ritual or assisting Burberry in that, this does not undo what Koron has done to them. Not on its own, at the very least. And the idea is that Burberry regains control of their connection to the astral plane, and they can kind of force Koron to detach from them. Is that correct?
Forcing Koron might be a strong word for it. You could certainly try if you find whatever aspect of him has been made manifest within yourself. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could try to force him out. Taking control of your locus is
I think it would be the equivalent of Koron has the fire hose, and if we turn off the water, there's not really much point in him holding onto the hose.
Exactly. Thank you, Burberry.
Interesting. So then, assuming that we succeed in doing exactly that, when we come out of this ritual, Burberry will still be Burr and Barry, and we will need to perform something else to fix that?
So the reason that I'm staying like this is because Koron is maintaining concentration on keeping me like this.
Correct.
If he doesn't have it, if there's no water in the hose, he might not see the need to keep the connection, might just drop it immediately, or he might be petty for a few days. I don't know.
At some point, we believe he will eventually have a need of his full faculties, and Burberry will be of the lowest priority to him. He will have to eventually.
Because it does take energy to maintain this.
Yes.
Sure.
I mean, maintain this. Why did I do that?
Sure, I think I understand.
Eventually, Koron will cease to be a reality in your life, Burberry, after which point it should not be a terribly difficult process to lift what is otherwise an ugly but manageable curse.
As far as the specifics of what we would be doing, that sounds like it's pretty unknowable.
To me, at least, yes. I do not have the insight into Burberry myself. You seem like a lovely person, obviously, but I don't know you nearly well enough to make any attempt at advising you on what you might see or encounter in there. As I said, you will be walking a very peculiar intersection of the physical and the metaphysical, the inner workings of the mind and of your personhood. Burberry will be actively manifesting.
Like letting you inside of my brain.
Right.
You can tell he wants to try and quibble like the distinction here, but he's like, close enough.
Simplifying it.
I'm not very smart.
She's
Do
smart.
yourself-
You are smart.
You do yourself a discredit, ma'am.
I have absorbed a lot hanging around with Burberry. Given our role in all this, I feel inclined to ask, are we... I know we are at risk in that if the ritual takes too long or if things don't go to plan, we could be stuck in there for ever. And that would pose a health risk in that we could not eat or drink. But can we be harmed during the ritual if we are not ourselves? Can we be hurt or die?
In theory, any sort of transference of your self outside of your body poses certain risks. In practice, I don't expect you to encounter anything of quite that sort of mortal danger outside of whatever avatar of Koron exists within you at this stage, Burberry. That, I think, is the most dire threat to any of you entering. And I think as long as you steer clear of that particular entity, I don't think you're going to find anything within Burberry that is going to sever your connections to your bodies. If you are battered enough in there, much like with astral projection, one would expect you would be rejected from the mind space. You would wake up. Re-entering after the fact, however, would be, well, impossible, really, unless everyone were to wake up, in which case you would likely need to start over from square one.
Okay. So, don't get knocked out.
In all likelihood, not the worst thing that's ever happened to you, but certainly not to your advantage in this endeavor.
Right. Okay.
Well, I'm glad that we have a day beforehand. There is no nice way to say this. Would y'all be interested in having a going away party, getting horribly wasted, and asking me any questions you feel like?
Adlar just looks at Lauren like...
I mean, I'm always down to get wasted, but I think we'll have plenty of questions for after the fact. So we don't
Oh,
have
no, I meant so you were more aware of what you might run into.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Sure. It's hard to know what to ask because we don't know what we'll run into in any context. Like we don't know what the threats in there will look like at all. But that is good to know. So yeah, we should ask a few things, I suppose.
Well, You'll see Tyrion look at the clock on the wall as he's like finishing his morning coffee. Like, it is 9 a.m., but I suppose if there's ever a day to tie one on early, I suppose today would be the day.
Well, that would also give time for them or me to recover from the hangover before we get started.
Fair point.
I think Lauren would ask the matron, if there's any questions that we should ask. That might be pertaining to the threat.
Well, hopes, fears, and dreams are good to have in mind. Preoccupations, anxieties, any...
We're gonna run into Aldrin.
Hey, you can get him. I don't know if Noelle's even talked to you about that yet.
No, I don't think so. But, sorry,
The
that was my
outside
bad
Aldrin wouldn't qualify as an anxiety.
joke. Okay. That's
So this is going to be less of a party and more of a therapy session. But still, having booze is going to be a good lubricant
Booze and
for
therapy
that.
go together.
Childhood experiences would probably be good to be revisited, made aware of for everyone. The better to navigate some of the deeper layers of your psyche. Genuinely, anything that you don't want to surprise your friends with would probably be for the best to get out in the open now.
The biggest one out of the way.
Comes from the bottom.
Wait, what was the first part of that?
Oh, we already got the biggest one out of the way.
Oh, well, that's one down. All right, well, it sounds like everything is pretty esoteric after this point, so should we perhaps leave you to your day and let you start prepping for this, and we can...
Yes, I certainly have my day cut out for me now, but you're welcome to stay on the campus for the night, unless you would prefer to have a room out in town, but we will absolutely have someone send to you when preparations are ready. So.
We weren't able to visit for very long last time we were here. Do you think you would recommend us a good restaurant or a fun place to be?
Well, I don't often leave the diocese, but I hear tell from some of
2 a.m. cravings whenever you ask people to bring you stuff.
Well, I hear tell from some of the juniors that there was a place in town called
Uh-oh.
the sickly tuba, I think it is.
Did you just...
You need a new name generator, man.
No, what are you talking about? This is great.
The sickly
I like
tuba?
What?
It's
Sam Hill?
okay for me.
Any other recommendations?
I mean, if that's the one that most people...
I'm just saying, I hear the name come up a lot, and it's always baffled me. I've never been myself, so I can't speak to it. But
It's either a really good thing or a really bad thing if the name comes up a lot.
We'll check it out.
If that one doesn't suit your taste, there was one I stayed in when I first came out here before I actually took up residence on campus, called the Second Lioness, which is much closer to the edge of town. It was not very big 20 years ago, but it may have grown since then.
Lioness and the sickly tuba. All right, thank you.
I hope.
I mean, we gotta check out the tuba one, guys. We have
We
to.
do. We kind of do,
I can imagine the mascot already.
unfortunately.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Cardinal Tyrion, for being so hospitable
Of
to
course.
our needs here. I guess we will go prepare ourselves.
Enjoy the tuba.
I will.
It doesn't make us sickly.
He will see you to the door. And you guys will be able to leave past the guards, who will kind of resume their stance in the middle of the hallway and just kind of watch as you depart. And I guess after getting some directions from someone along the way, you eventually find yourselves stepping onto a relatively busy-looking kind of main street. Yeah.
On our way there, do we see any bakeries on the way?
Yeah, there's probably bakeries around.
I would like to buy the biggest cake that they have inside the first bakery we see.
Okay, sure. There's probably like a wedding cake in their window.
One that's not reserved.
It's a cake they have on display.
One that I can actually eat.
You can eat a wedding cake. I don't know what's stopping you.
Wait, why would you not be able to eat that?
Well, because it could, okay, listen, I go to a bakery and there are display cakes that people make that they aren't actually cake.
Yeah, when you say wedding cake, I feel like that's a display cake. That's not a
Right, I don't want a display cake.
This is a magical realm where food is preserved for days and days without rotting because of magic. Okay?
You don't eat a wedding cake unless it's at a wedding. That's just the rules. I'm sorry.
If you don't want the wedding cake, the second biggest cake in the store is probably like a big ass like German chocolate thing with the little.
Oh, heckin' yeah!
Yeah.
Oh man, I need some milk.
And as you carry this gigantic, like pizza box sized, like probably like 1.5 foot tall cake down the street with you.
Lauren turns into a cow.
Into a what?
That's so funny.
It's so wrong.
What?
It's so wrong.
Lauren turns into a cow.
I think Noelle says that. She'll turn into a cow and be like,
I will get my milk elsewhere, but thank you, Lauren.
Lauren will pop back into herself and just be cackling. Just absolutely cackling.
There's some passers by the street that are very upset with just what happened.
Is Adlar very upset?
Adlar's dying laughing.
I think they're both laughing too, honestly.
That's twisted.
Sorry. Anyways, please continue.
That's fantastic.
As you guys are walking down the street, Adlar's like, how many druids do you think just gave up and were like, you know what? I'm just going to get tugged off at a farm for the rest of my life. You guys see up ahead this
You're just moving past that. Still rolling past that one.
Adler's just fucking riffing on this now. But you guys see up ahead there is this very, very garishly decorated establishment. The front of the building is like a bright purple, and protruding out into the street, it's probably like 3 stories tall, and there is a sign that stretches from just above the door up to the peak of this tavern. The sign is magically illuminated and animated, and what you see is this caricature of a very grotesque man,
God.
looking very sick, and proceeding to barf into his tuba, which he is holding, in his lap. And then he considers it, and he takes a drink out of his tuba, and then he gets sick again. And it just cycles this like 4-frame neon, just awful thing. I mean, it's loud inside. You can already hear the crowd inside.
At 9 a.m.
At 9 a.m.
It probably took
Man, these kids need to study more.
It's busy. And yeah, just looking in the window, you can see like there's a short wait in that sort of like antechamber lobby, right past the front doors. There's already like a party waiting. And deeper inside, there is what looks like this very like densely packed kind of German beer hall sort of establishment. Long benches, crowded with people. You can smell like just the most decadent, richly seasoned food wafting out of the windows. And you can also hear what sounds like bells and chimes going off from somewhere deeper in this establishment. And also audible is very, very faint sound of music, kind of from somewhere inside, occasionally audible over the sound of chatter.
Does it look like they have any off rooms, or is it just the one main hall?
It looks like there's multiple stories to this place. Like there's sort of like this sort of open air kind of channel that kind of runs up the center of the building. Kind of all the smoke from the fireplaces is kind of like wafting up that direction towards the ceiling. But there's like a wooden walk, like floor that kind of encircles that on like 2 and 3 stories up, and stairs at the back of the chamber that kind of lead upwards.
It's like a big hotel.
Kind of.
I'm sure they have private spaces. Is that what you want?
I was thinking about possibly renting one, but if it's this busy and there's a wait, I'm not sure if they'd have one available.
Burberry, we're the Lost Emeralds. I'll go up to the counter. Nell's gonna be very confident, and then she's gonna go up to the guy and be like, "Do you have a private room? We're really looking for something here."
Okay. The Major D looks at, she's like, "Oh yeah, welcome to the 6-2, ma'am. Private room, you said? Yeah, we've got one should be open up on the 3rd floor here in about 10 minutes. If you guys are willing to wait, we can get you guys seated and squared away. You guys want anything to drink while you wait? We have somebody run to the bar
Yes! Yes, I do. That's a Lauren.
No.
A Lauren like
Have to be alcohol.
for you. Adlar is going to raise a hand too. Yeah. It's like, all right, that's 2. Any other takers?
Can we just get like a pitcher of milk? I think we're gonna need it.
I can just do this, and she'll turn back.
Oh.
Like, ow.
Oh goodness, ma'am! Please, not no animals in the dining room. That's a health concern.
She'll turn back into herself. Oh no, she'll speak telepathically to this lady and just be like, "I am not an animal. I am a person. Thank you very much."
You are very much a cow, ma'am, and I'm gonna have to ask you to please vacate the premises or turn
The premises.
I am a beautiful, beautiful Triton in the
You
body
are
of
a health
cow.
hazard. Please leave.
You're a health hazard. She'll turn back into her cow. She'll turn back into herself.
The waiter is just like, thank you. Okay.
place is
2
no
beers
fun.
for the cow lady and her friend. Pitcher of milk. Yeah.
You can actually put the pitcher of milk in the room when it's ready.
All right, we'll hold that pitcher. You're going to see the maitre d' reach behind the counter. They're going to pull out what looks like a baton and like tap the top of their little podium real quick. And you're going to watch as this very large tuba-shaped pitcher like floats forward from somewhere deeper in this facility. You're going to see the maitre d' speaking into sort of the funnel of the instrument, and it is going to fly away and return within a few seconds with a couple of mugs floating beside it and pour itself into those mugs. And you're going to see thick foamy beer, deep red, kind of amber color, spill out into the cups and just kind of float towards you and Adlar, wait for you to take them.
Lauren looks unimpressed. But she'll take.
Adlar's impressed. He's like, ooh.
Don't say.
He looks like that every time someone gives him a beer.
I feel like we just walked into the college equivalent of New Orleans.
This place is so specific and elaborate, and I want to know more, but I also don't want to wait longer to get to Burberry's stuff.
Yeah, 10 minutes will pass. You guys will be seated eventually.
I'm going to reserve the room for like 4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to need it.
It's like a fucking 3 copper minimum table service for every hour. So
Done.
A waiter will come by. They'll walk you up the stairs, and there is like a little. There's a series of these kind of like more private dining rooms on the upper floor. The ceiling is still open, just so that like smoke and whatever from inside can still waft up towards the chimneys.
I'll
But,
also take the maitre d' as an apology for the cow.
It's like, oh, it's fine. It happens. Like, he doesn't seem terribly phased, truth be told. And, I mean, walking through this place, you definitely get the vibe that this is kind of like an adventure-y hangout in Hallowvale. There's definitely a variety of rough and tumble-looking individuals, groups of armed folks, kind of hedge wizards, a handful of other conclave priests who are kind of, downtime, like kind of dressed down a little bit, interspersed amongst them. A couple of them will recognize, your Rose Burberry and give you a little wave. And as you guys are seated in your rooms, waiter will take your orders, and eventually you will see dishes begin flying up over the wall and down onto the table and setting themselves down for you.
The amount of magic that went into making this place insane.
This is crazy. Just to feed Noelle's ego, does anyone recognize the lost emeralds?
Give me a perception check.
I'd like to join in on this perception check.
Not great.
I won't. I'm going to avoid this perception check.
Lauren has great perception.
You please roll higher than me.
Yeah. I have a plus 14.
I got a 13.
Get numbers that high.
28.
28. 13. I feel like maybe, Noelle, you kind of feel people watching you, but you can't really pick anybody in particular out of a crowd as you're kind of looking around. There's just so much in here, and there's like smoke and music and all these sounds. Lauren, though, you definitely lock eyes with like a couple of people as you guys climb the stairs that you've noticed are like kind of leaning in with their group and whispering and pointing towards you.
She'll wink at them.
Like one of them will blush, one of them immediately like ducks their head back down into their group and just like completely stops looking at you. There's definitely recognition in the room, for sure. It does not necessarily get quieter. Like it's not like lost emeralds are here, But
I wouldn't expect that.
There's definitely a number of people in here who are watching and kind of clocking that, like, oh shit, that might be them.
Cool.
I think it is them.
I feel like a Lauren is like the person that would totally go up and like engage with some of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She'd be like, Noelle, come here.
Oh, what's up?
They recognize us. Do you want to go talk to them with me?
Sure, I suppose.
So yeah, she'll
Meet y'all at the table.
Okay.
like she's just like, so what can we do for y'all today?
We have a special on.
There's like this young elvish guy, a half-orc woman, a couple of like human dudes, one in like light leathers, the others in a very like stereotypically pointy wizard hat. Both of them like very fresh looking. And the half-orc woman just says, You guys lost emeralds at a Freeport, right?
That's us.
I don't see a lot of Tritons around here. I assumed, hey, and she'll stand up and extend a hand. It's like a huge honor to meet you. Really, just the work you guys have done. We've been hearing stories out this way, and never imagined you'd actually come all the way out to Hallowvale. But seriously, welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your name?
My name's Beck.
Beck.
This is my group.
Are you
say hi,
guys
everybody.
adventuring party?
And one of the human guys, Rakan, will speak up and say, well, we've been signed on with the CAA not too long ago, and just kind of been out and about out here, trying to make a difference. We heard there was a lot of piratey stuff happening out east, so we figured, if things are getting bad, we might need some more people out here, holding down the fort. So how we try to do our part. It's crazy you guys are here, though. Did you guys seriously kill that sea monster that attacked the city? I heard that you guys just destroyed it. You guys have a pet T-Rex, right? Did you bring it with you?
Noel just kind of points at the Lord.
That was me. I'm the T-Rex.
Oh shit!
Did you see her sweet cow maneuver earlier?
Yeah, those I can turn into a cow too. My most impressive form.
That's all she can do. She turns into a cow or a T-Rex.
Wait, is this where? Wait, somebody needs to say that's a load of bull.
The half-orc lady Beck laughs at that, but the wizard guy, Dorian, he's like, wait, seriously, you could just turn into T-Rex like whenever you want?
Give me an hour, and I will show it to you if you'd like.
Not in the restaurant. That's a house
No.
Do it inside, probably.
I will not do it inside. Oh my god. I already turned
They
into
don't
a
like
cow.
animals inside.
Yeah,
How do you do that exactly? Like, what's your? You could see him like rummaging, and he pulls out this big leather book and like opens it, and he's like getting a pen ready. Just like, what's your process? What does that
Teaching
look
a
like?
wizard how a druid polymorphs.
We tend to be more intuitive in our casting, a lot less technical. I don't know if our knowledge would translate directly to how you tend to do things.
Just the disappointment just washes over him. Rickon just claps his shoulders like, come on, it's all right. You'll figure it out eventually, right? They know how to do it now.
I mean, I hope I could show you how to do it. I don't learn magic the same way as you. Nothing.
Noelle will like scooch into the booth next to this wizard guy and just like open her poetry book. I imagine there's some amount of arcane symbology and whatnot in there, but it's much more like homebrewed, in how she kind of learns to cast stuff. He
is baffled trying to make sense of what he's reading. He's like...
Yeah, so my process is that I kind of generally start with like a little bit of a writing exercise that kind of gets me into the headspace of the magic that I want to cast, and then I start to weave in like incantations and words that I know that are more arcane in nature, and eventually it starts to shape into something over the course of, a few weeks.
And he's just sitting here just like, this doesn't make any sense. You can't balance. You can't. No. There's not a single transmutation glyph in this entire. It's like you're just making it up. He's like flipping through your book, just incredulous.
Here,
and it works.
Absolutely. Here, I'll show you. What animal do you want to be?
I'm gonna make this poor wizard multi-class a bard on accident.
Should have been born a sorcerer, my friend.
Do not start that again.
I'm kidding. What animal do you want to be? Something reasonably small, please.
A ferret.
That's doable. I will very intentionally, slowly cast polymorph so you can watch the process and see that it's happening.
I hope that you say something along the lines of you're turning into a ferret. I really hope you can bear it.
I mean, as you begin to incant and like kind of wave your hand, you can tell, like you can see his like eyes widen as he's like sensing, like, yes, something magical is clearly happening here. But as you're doing this, he's saying, "What the hell are you saying? This doesn't make it." He immediately contracts into this long, furry, muscular.
Before she does it, no, wait, this is the guy with the hat, right? The wizard hat?
Yeah.
Noelle's gonna snatch the wizard hat off his head just before he polymorphs, and then she's gonna grab the ferret and put it in the hat.
It just is like sniffing your hand and like very like lightly like nibbling on your finger.
Oh, he's so cute this way.
Look, he's not questioning how you do magic.
But the half-orc woman's chuckling at this. Rickon, the human in leathers next to him, is looking a little concerned, like, he's not going to stay like that, right?
Yeah, about an hour, but I could drop it whenever I wanted.
Oh, good. Yeah, Mom would kill me.
Is this your brother?
Are you guys brothers?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, here, you hold the hat.
Yeah, here's your brother back.
He's like holding the ferret, and the ferret just starts like crawling around his like neck.
He's adorable.
Like up on his head. You hear somebody yell from the front of that house, "Hey, no animals in the eating room! Wait, get out of here! Get out!"
Noel's startled by this, forgets that he crawled onto his neck, and just immediately drops polymorph.
Falls. And you just hear them introduce voice, "God damn it!" As the wizard falls to the floor, just kind of like half presses his brother into the table as he rolls down his back.
Sorry about that. I got a little startled there.
I'm okay. It's fine. He stands up, he brushes his robe off, and he just kind of looks at you with this like incredulous look on his face, and he says, "That is the most nonsensical book of magic I've ever seen in my life."
Thank you very much.
I have some things to reconsider. I need a moment. He's gonna stand up and like walk towards one of the what looks like it's like a side room, and you can see there's actually like a lot of lights kind of flashing in that room through the doorway. Well, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on in there.
Just pumping rave music going on.
You hear a lot of the bell sounds coming from that direction too, like the chiming and the ringing, just kind of random intermittent lights and sounds coming out of that room.
As he walks away, Noel's just going to be like, "There's a lot of magic to be found in artistry. Okay, see you later."
Ricard's just looking at him like, man.
Did you just like destroy his will to be a mage?
I've had conversations with Alexi about how I cast spells, and he thinks it's the most roundabout, crazy thing ever. But he seems to understand it a little bit better than that guy did. I didn't think it'd be quite as mind-blowing for him.
He just graduated back in Gyarados like a year ago, so, you know. He's got some time, I think.
That is fair. I mean, you guys are, you say you're just starting with the CAA?
Yeah. We signed up a few months ago, actually. So, it's been going well. You know, we've been pretty successful so far. Nothing big. Just got some weird animals acting up and some weird lights in the hills. People have been worried about. There's been some monsters kind of congregating out that way.
Is it a red light?
Yeah. There's been a bunch of them around the valley.
That's Lost Sherrod, the pirate ship.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly
Kinda
related
looks
to
over.
his activity, that's for sure.
Yeah. The half-orc woman, Beck, just kind of says, "Yeah, I heard some rumors that was tied to that light out to sea, you know. I haven't seen it myself, but I heard there was a big one out that way."
Oh,
Right.
yeah, it's giant.
I guess you guys can't see it from Hammervale.
No.
It's very eerie.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, so we'll talk with them and then we'll go back.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, y'all can wrap up your conversation with it. Ricardo and Becker, you know, they're very happy to see you, and it's an honor and da-da-da. And
See, it's a good
as
thing
you
we
guys,
didn't ask about the
Keep going.
tuba.
I was just teasing.
No, it's a good thing we didn't ask about the tuba, because this would still be going then.
Well, to summarize, we'll say if you guys talking all about this place, you'd find out that this place was founded as like a bet between a couple of wizards to see if they could make the stupidest bar possible and just automate the hell out of it and see if it would catch on, and it did. So, you know, the guy who founded it sold it for a pretty penny, and he's retired somewhere on fucking Toure.
I feel like that story is like proudly displayed on a placard behind the counter.
There's like a big newspaper like right next to the kitchen that's like got this like long white beard, wide eye, like shaking hands as he's like getting a big like novelty check with somebody.
Okay, let's
Anyways, so
do some
regrouping.
Burberry stuff.
Yeah. You guys order some food, get some drinks. You guys have this
Burberry,
closed
like,
room to yourself.
Huge slice of that chocolate cake when you get there.
Oh, I will have some too. That sounds great. I probably should have had. No, we did have breakfast. Yeah.
We did.
This is like a early lunch dessert thing. I guess more like a brunch.
Oh, no. You see, you're thinking of the meal as being like a sprint. No, friend. We're on a marathon.
We probably shouldn't start with cake then, but...
Dessert.
I assume that was dessert
first. Touche, I suppose.
That is exactly
Okay, so do you want us to start asking you questions, Burberry?
Lay it on me. What you got? Oh wait, actually, I'll take. Can I orders some hard liquor then? Then yes.
Okay. Well, I met you when I was around the age of 13 or 14. And we only spent that week together, so I didn't know a lot about you. I mean, you shared that you were, like, traveling, and I met your parents and stuff like that, but, like, what was your life like before we met?
Basically, my folks were traders, so I spent a lot of time traveling, so I didn't really get to know a lot of other kids my age, because my parents didn't tend to join caravans or anything like that. They were pretty good at handling things on their own. So honestly, you were probably one of the kids that I had the most interactions with around that age. I didn't really start making, like, friends that were in my same age range until probably after I joined the Conclave.
Okay. When did you join the Conclave? Under what context did you do that, given that your parents were travelers?
Well, we met a guy from the Platinum Brotherhood. Name is in my notes.
You don't have to give the name if you don't want to.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's pretty funny actually. Father Platino from the Platinum Brotherhood.
Platino.
Okay.
Okay.
And he explained how the Platinum Brotherhood worked and how it kind of hooked in, and I found that wildly fascinating, like knowing that there's this huge big world out there with lots of, and you can sense one of the, like, Burberry's getting excited about the subject and about to tell you all about the subject and getting off track.
I mean, we did reserve this place for 4 hours, so
we did.
We have room to get off track occasionally.
So basically, to paraphrase them up, so Burberry kind of learned about the existence of gods through Father Platino, which is whenever he decided, hey, well, I don't have to be a trader for my life, so I'm going to go see what this is about, because the idea that there's a, like, large thing that's past the plane that we could even comprehend is wild.
Sure.
It's like a scientist discovering quantum physics.
Right. There's a whole other layer to this.
Yeah. So he basically told his parents, hey, I want to go study at this school. And they traded. That was one of, like, they generally don't travel to the Emerald Coast too often, but they kind of, like, started heading that way, so that he could go to a conclave, like, academy, Catholic school.
Sure.
Seminary.
Send him off to private
Seminary, that's the word.
And where was that school?
Oh no, I don't remember.
That was not terribly important, but I'm just genuinely curious.
Where did I go to school?
Was it near the Emerald Coast?
Like, I don't think it was too far, like, because he was there until, like, maybe a couple of months before y'all met, so it shouldn't have been too far of a travel on foot from...
We met in Goshen, I think.
Right.
Yeah, so it would have been kind of near there, I guess?
Possibly. But where are the actual, like, conclave seminaries? Because I imagine that's a different thing than the actual chapels.
Yeah, let me get my map open.
Put it on play.
Thank you.
What is near?
Trying to make some room for you to roleplay, but nah. Call the DM. Make the DM solve the problem. All right, let me see. You. I mean, honestly, Hallowvale would probably have a seminary program.
In that case, I wouldn't be surprised if Hollowvale was one of like Burberry's initial location. Just because like his whole thing is finding unusual gods, and Hollowvale seems like a great place for that.
Sure. I think the other spot that would potentially have one is the city of Handelar, which is between Freeport and Gosefheim. Handelar's fairly close to the mountains, which would be a good place to build an observatory.
Okay. That would make sense.
And it's remote enough that you're not going to have a lot of like interference from arcanists and magic pollution really.
Yeah.
Freeport's too busy. There's too many people, too much magic floating around. Like it's going to interfere with your
All right. Then I will
astral observation.
I will switch it to Handelar, if only because we haven't been to Handelar, so that means that you don't have to use extra NPC knowing and all that jazz.
Fair enough. Okay.
Sure. So Handelar.
And then I found out that there's a limited amount of gods out there that we actually like can talk to. And I went, what if there's more than that? Like, what if we can make our connection with this plane even stronger by so I started actually looking for lost or tapped is not the right word, but basically the non-mainstream gods.
Okay. Is there any conflict aside from the obvious in your past that you haven't shared with us? Any people that you disagreed with? Any bullies or just conflicting personalities that you've run up against?
One traitor that my parents really didn't like, and he was really scary when I was little. There was Jareth.
Jareth? This sounds like a write it down type of name.
Jareth was one of the other students at the conclave school. He was such a know-it-all.
Okay.
And he was the type of person that if he didn't know something, he'd make it up.
Oh, I know those people.
Yeah, Jareth was the worst.
Jareth, conclave students / asshole.
I'm gonna have to add this to my notes.
Just keep in mind, Kat, whatever you say here, Plep might have to roleplay, which is hilarious.
Damn, Jareth.
Fuck Jareth.
Everybody hates that guy. All my homies hate Jareth.
Yep.
Almost as bad as Jerial. No.
Okay. Anyone else have questions? I'm trying to think.
What's the weirdest food that you thought you would hate but you actually liked?
Gumbo.
Oh,
I feel like squidsicles are weirder than gumbo.
Oh, no. The weirdest one is octopus eggs.
how that much different from fish eggs?
They're like longer because the way that they attach them to things is different. So like fish eggs are round, octopus eggs are like drop shaped.
That just sounds like grapes on a vine, then.
Yes, if the grapes on the vine were savory
Well, that doesn't sound that bad.
and kind of salty.
Well, the question was the food that they thought would be weird, but they ended up liking, correct?
That's true.
Or maybe it was squid eggs. It's been a while.
I believe octopus eggs. Squid eggs looks like floppy sea urchins.
I was like, well, I mean, if I like squid sickles, then we have a way of hunting squids, so we probably know where squid breeding
In my headcanon, that's the waiter correcting us as he's pouring some water.
I'll be honest, you probably don't see a lot of waitstaff. Everything is animated here. Like all the cutlery, all the serving dishes, everything is just
This
like.
is some Beauty and the Beast
Do we-
shit.
order with the dishware?
Hmm?
Do we order with the dishware?
Yeah, presumably someone has to take an order.
Well, they took your initial order, and there's
Yeah,
probably
but
like
we want more
there's like a
food.
little notepad. There's like a notepad on the table if you wanted more food. You just like scribble and put it on the plate, and it flies away.
Nah, it's just another one of like all the notepads are twins, so you'll just have
You're
the
right
paper on the
notepad.
inside of the kitchen.
You just
You're just
chuck it
writing
out the
your
door
receipts.
and it'll get somewhere. Okay, let's move away from negative for a minute. What about friends or romantic interests in the past that have existed?
Well, I haven't had a ton, besides, but,
Before the Lost Emerald.
well, I generally didn't get to know people for very long before that. I probably the closest one that I would have to say would be,
Sorry, my brain is. I'm trying to think of a random girl name, and I keep coming up with stuff that's too close to other things.
Calliope?
That's a great name.
Or wait, is that your god? Did I accidentally steal a god?
Calliope's not a god.
Cool.
Calliope it is!
Calliope was a friend of Burberry?
Yeah, she also studied at the thing, and then she was a waitress when she wasn't studying.
She was studying at the conclave? Or the seminary?
Yes, although she was doing it more as she wasn't planning on becoming a full-on member of the Brotherhood. Boop, boop, boop. She was really funny, and her nose would always wrinkle when she laughed.
No, she sounds lovely.
She is very nice. I
Did
miss
you
her from time to time.
ever contact her, stay in touch at all?
Not after I left suddenly. I kind of cut off a lot of...
Right. I suppose you only would have had the opportunity after learning sending.
Yeah. But I imagine she's probably doing fine. She's actually pretty smart.
Well, you have to be to know a lot about religion.
I think she was mostly doing it to make her parents happy, if I'm being real.
Did you meet her parents? Did you know them, or were you close with their family?
Really, but she did talk about her dad a lot.
I see. Okay, so Calliope good, Jareth bad.
Fuck Jareth.
Right. That's what I wrote down. Anything particularly sad in your past that we might bump up against? Obviously, aside from the obvious.
I mean, maybe you might run into the things that I used to imagine that my parents were?
Like what?
Oh, you know how it is when you're young. You think, oh, well, I'm a dragonborn and I have tabaxi parents, so of course I'm adopted. I wonder what my actual parents were like. What if they were actually dragons? And then, that whole thing just kind of
Okay.
snowballs out.
So you would imagine at one point that your biological parents were dragons.
Yes.
I suppose you don't know anything about your biological parents, huh?
Yeah, but as I grew up, I realized that it wasn't important. It's not about the people you were born with. It's people raised you.
Hey, we both had to learn that lesson.
Let's see, big fears, if we're going with that. I used to be really scared that whenever we were traveling, that a large pack of wolves would come out and rip our carriage to shreds, like in the Three Little Pigs.
Okay. Good to know. Childhood fear of wolves.
Wolves with very good lungs, apparently.
Uh,
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Was that a story that you took to as a child? Three Little Pigs?
It wasn't so much that we took to it. It was more like it was one of those easy stories. So, but my parents told me a lot of fairy tales when I was a kid. So, Three Pigs, Goldilocks,
Sure.
all that jazz, Red Riding Hood. A lot of wolves.
Three pigs, three bears, big bad wolf.
Yeah, although I never understood why, like, with the three bears. I mean, it just seems like that Goldilocks was just really, really rude. She kind of deserved whatever she got.
That's true. Some of those tales, when you look back on them, they're a little
Look,
darker.
but don't make that face. She broke into somebody's house, ate their food, and slept in their beds. I don't like.
What are you giggling about, sir?
Just making a note of what might appear in Burberry's headspace.
Giant dragon wolf, and it's a pack
of 3.
We're going through the emotions here. Happy, sad, scary, fear, or I guess anger. I don't know. What else do we need to suss out? I feel like we know you pretty well.
Most of my childhood fears are nothing compared to what we actually went through.
Yeah, that's true. Same here.
Weird things with teeth. Angry fungus. Exploding ships. Lots of exploding ships.
Do you guys still...
Actually, that might be a pretty heavy one, is exploding ships!
Yeah, that was scary. Do you guys still have, like, nightmares about Montauban? Because I do. That place was awful. I don't think I've had a worse week. I can't even imagine a worse week.
Honestly, I was so tired when it happened, and baby teeth didn't work on me so well, so I'm not. I have one every once in a while, but it's more of a being alone walking down a long hallway kind of deal.
Sure. I guess me and John were kind of in the worst position. I mean, we basically spent days wandering through cursed woods, avoiding monsters, and, barely surviving. It was bad. I mean, yeah, and Burberry also got the worst of it too.
At least, I'm actually, as weird as it sounds, I'm a little glad for baby teeth. Otherwise, I might have gotten third man syndrome.
I don't know what that means.
It's what happens whenever you are alone in scary, deathy situations, and imagine there's a third person or a second person there, so that you have someone to talk to.
Oh.
Because baby teeth was terrifying, but he was someone to talk to.
He did like to talk.
He really did. And honestly, if I had rolled worse, I think, or better, worse, I think it would have gone a lot worse for me.
Yeah, I feel like under all that, baby teeth was lonely. But
well, I guess he's not anymore.
No,
he's not anything anymore.
Long defeated, thanks to the Lost Emeralds.
Being found was also a pretty bad one.
Being found?
Well, whenever we first met, I was scared that if anybody ever found out about this whole nonsense, that I would end up in like a zoo or something.
That is a fair question. How do you even answer this? What exactly did you fear, and why did you keep it secret for so long, Burberry? Not that I blame you, I'm just really curious.
Well,
What did you think we'd say or do?
I didn't really know how y'all would react. It was more as people as a whole.
Sure.
Because it's... and I've said as much before. Normally, if you are not like John with the very dangerous or, like a normal race or something like that, then people usually assume that you're a monster and you need to immediately die.
No, that's true, and it's not. Our neighbors are goblins.
Yes, but whenever we had our first interaction with goblins, we were literally hired to get rid of them because they were being a problem.
That's true. I never felt good about that.
Oh, breadsticks.
Poor breadstick. They really shouldn't have.
The name will resound through the ages, breadstick.
I could go for a breadstick right now.
Actually, it sounds great.
I got you.
A basket of breadsticks floats
A
down.
ghost floats in. Okay, going over stuff that we have done together then, now it seems like we're sort of up to speed on the larger beats of your life pre-Emeralds. What are some specific fears or worries that might crop up related to our time together? Is there any specific days or experiences that really stood out to you as this is awful?
There was getting stabbed. I think it was pretty close after we first met. It was the first time that I ever went unconscious.
Was that at Theron's Hold, or?
That was when I got taken hostage.
That was it by that weird metal man.
Mm-hmm. Drowning is also pretty heavy in there.
Wait, when did you drown?
Oh, that's because of the exploding boat.
Oh, I don't remember most of that.
The first one.
The first one. When I woke up, I had managed to crawl into the cave and I couldn't leave because the only way out was underwater.
Oh,
so
the Koran boat. Gotcha. Yeah, that was a bad day.
Yeah.
I was very lucky on that day just because I managed to get to one of the lifeboats and we were able to paddle it to shore over it took us the whole night, but we did get there. It wasn't a complete nightmare.
Oh! And then there's one that's going to be very real, which is we're all going to somehow die while you're in my head. God, that would be the worst!
It sounds like that's not terribly likely.
Well, yeah, but you see, the thing is that the fear is that one of you will die, so my brain might actively try to kill you to make that fear a reality.
Well, stop thinking about that then.
It will never stop. It will never stop, part of me.
I too have anxiety.
Just anxiety with a rainbow.
Yeah, getting stabbed is pretty awful. Pied stabbing me was definitely a low light. There's a reason I slashed his neck after he went down. That was not fun.
Or there's always trying to do something right and then find out you went horribly wrong. But that one's more of like a low-level dread.
Did that happen?
With Willem.
I don't think you did anything wrong with Willem, Burberry.
Oh, well, the whole taking over the thing for him and then finding out it was a drug front.
Oh, I mean just the initial. I see.
Yeah, as I said, low-level dread.
I mean that was more chalked up to our lack of collective experience. I mean we should never have taken any deal with him. Or at the very least we should have rolled an insight check, and nobody did that. Lesson learned. But no, Willem absolutely. I remember everything about that week. That's for sure.
But yeah, drowning and exploding boats are pretty high on the list. I'd say those are going to be your biggest worries.
Honestly, the explosion, the explosion way high up in the air, that one, I have no problems with. That I was out immediately. I was just gone. I really don't remember most of that day, so not a big deal. The stabbing I do remember. That really sucked. Trying to think, what else have we done? Anything from saving the gatekeeper? I don't think we did anything super harrowing there.
Nah, we've had a few invisible enemies, and
Yeah.
it's bad, but could be worse. And I sure hope Piletus doesn't take any cues from that.
Don't worry, I have a hunch that whoever Piletus challenges next will keep bags of flour on them.
I kind of worry Piletus is a god that listens whenever you call their name.
If you say it too many times, he'll be summoned.
Exactly.
It's Beetlejuice rules.
Oh well, that's not actually entirely his deal, but listen, I've had Piletus in my list of gods since day one. I don't know what to tell you.
I didn't say nothing.
Do you guys remember that weird map maker, Jay Cobb?
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a long time.
Whatever happened to him?
It kind of haunts me.
Have you seen him since?
No.
Just your
weirded me out.
dreams?
Yeah. Just weirds me out, man.
He was weird.
Probably making maps.
I don't know why that got me so bad.
It's because it got pleaded. Laughter is contagious.
Pete started laughing.
I think it was just the sheer obviousness of it, but it's just so mundane too. I don't know. I love it.
Wonder what he's doing now. Probably making maps.
Don't overthink it, Noel.
Dumbass. Not the part of me would ever say that.
You know what? This is... I'm running out of things to ask Berber, but I'm curious. Barnaby, what's your worst memory of all of this? What was the...
When I was swarmed by those coconut crabs.
Okay, that was an illusion. You're aware of that, right?
It was real to me.
I mean, no, I don't blame you for freaking out. That would scare me, too. Anything that...
Well, there you go.
Anything else that we may
Whenever you shot a Lauren.
Wait, what about her?
When you shot her.
I shot her?
Yeah, I don't remember that fondly.
That was like a little subside thing. Aloran decided to troll Barnaby while he was fishing.
I remember it.
I do remember that.
Out of character, I remember it when she was the Quetzalcoatl, but Barnaby does not equate the two. He doesn't have object permanence.
Barnaby shot me too when I was a Quetzalcoatl. I remember that. That hurts.
Hey, Barnaby, you're not supposed to shoot your friends, by the way.
I don't shoot my friends, thank
You
you.
did, but you
He
did.
shoots his family.
No, he doesn't shoot his family, he explodes his family. It's different.
Yeah. He fucks up his family with death. Blowing up ships. Blowing up ships is a very common theme.
Right?
It keeps happening.
Now that we're talking about it, I'm like, you know what? You're actually, guys, you're onto something. There has been non-stop blowing up of ships.
So being shot by Barnaby was your worst, Lauren?
That's pretty
I feel like
shitty.
there's gotta be something worse than that, but I'm not you. I don't know.
I think you're just misremembering. I haven't shot you.
No, I can assure you. Honestly, it's getting worse now that he's saying that he hasn't shot me.
We determined Barnaby doesn't have object permanence.
Let me get any less angry.
It's deeply concerning.
Okay, well, being shot, worst. Being stabbed is my worst, probably, as far as physical pain. Barnaby's was being attacked by coconut crabs.
I think the only other thing was when Lauren was scared that her mom was gonna get, and the rest of her village.
Yeah, fear ones, that makes a lot of sense. Putting your family at risk, or having your family put at risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were pretty freaked out that night, I remember. Understandably.
But that would be the big one, I think. I feel like Lauren has a lot of scars and stuff. She's like, eh.
Sure. I mean, you were always a stronger fortitude than me, that's for sure. When it comes to damage and injuries, that's why I always stay on the periphery of everything.
Kind of fun
as far as
sometimes.
fear goes, I think Willem. I don't know if anything will ever top that, but. Okay, well, what about best moments? What's the best thing that you guys remember?
We enjoyed Halloween.
Kind Shadow?
Kind Shadow. Kind Shadow was a lot of fun. I also really liked learning Elvish with you and Lauren.
I don't think I'm much of a teacher, but I'm glad that I'm glad you had fun. I did actually. I think it was just because we got to spend extra time together, but
Burberry responds in Elvish, "You did plenty fine."
well, thank you.
I liked Farrell.
I mean, Farrell's just great.
Yeah.
Oh, the volleyball tournaments have got to be up there.
Yeah, I think volleyball tournament's really high up there for you.
That was so much fun. I can't believe we actually convinced the town elders or whatever to join us for that.
You guys crushed it. That was hilarious.
And now they'll never come back.
As far as I'm concerned, we are the owners of Farrell now, but
Not quite how that works, but
You might run into a pretty decent number of blanket forts.
I think the only thing that keeps Farrell lower on my list is just the fact that it was peppered with the spider cave.
Spider cave. Shit.
Once the spider cave was done, Farrell got a lot better.
Accurate.
But I mean, it's basically a tropical paradise.
Hard to beat a tropical paradise.
Yeah, I like catching sharks there with that one guy that we killed.
Oh, that was not Farrell. That was Daggermore. Actually, I did have a lot of fun.
I got paradise mixed up with tropical killing sharks.
Daggermore was a mixed bag. It was interesting, and I felt like so many people died.
Oh, I have one of Lauren's favorites. Singular word. Poopsie.
Oh, poopsie.
Poopsie.
I do.
Everybody loved Poopsie.
Poopsie.
Except that poor hotel clerk.
Poor.
I will always kick myself over Poopsie because I thought of that idea the day that Amelia vanished. And I did not bring it up because I thought for certain there was no way she was still at the hotel.
Mm.
And then we spent like 3 days on it. And then we used Poopsie and it worked. I should have just pitched it right away.
You know, we live and we learn, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Always pitch Poopsie.
Always pitch Poopsie.
I wonder how annoyed this turned into Poopsie right now.
They really don't like animals in here.
I know.
I can't believe they even noticed I turned that guy into a ferret. He was so small and quiet.
Maybe they got
And
sensors.
I immediately threw him into a hat. Yeah, that's fair. There's so much magic in here. Best moment, Barnaby.
I liked all the explosions. That was fun.
The one where you killed your brother? Or
Oh, that
cousin?
one, or the other boat. That was fun.
I enjoyed the other two, even though I almost
Oh, it was
Sorry.
fun watching big stuff go boom.
did. Fires.
Explosions are cool. I don't have a great relationship with them.
Don't expect much out of Barnaby. He's a simple man.
That's
Shark
fair.
fishing and blowing shit up.
That's fair. I genuinely was just curious. Okay, here's a fun one. What was the point where you thought for sure we were all gonna die?
The boat that blew up.
Yeah, the boat that blew up.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I
Keeps coming
was
back to the
honestly
boat
scared
for
that
a
all of
reason.
you were dead. I honestly thought all of you were dead. I was so scared. And I had no spells.
I was scared, but you know, if anything, I was thinking at least I'd go out with them.
No, Lauren, that's not the kind of bang you want to go out on, and you know it.
I know. Hey Adler, if I die, can you bang me to death?
If you're dead,
Yeah,
Can get
just
you
till I'm
some
dead.
explosions.
I don't know if I'm into that. I'll be honest. That might be my line. I think we found it.
Thank God we found it. I can't comment on that explosion, but I do remember a very intense feeling of an expectation of dread, and that's when we were crawling down that horrible cavern to get to the lair of baby teeth. You guys remember that really tight crevice we had to crawl down, and we had to like lower that rope through it, and it was long, and at the bottom there was like.
You mean the one where
barely
John
any,
nearly got stuck?
Yes. That was awful. That was so
I think you're
scary.
claustrophobic there.
I just thought
That
we
was
were
not-
never going to come back up. That's all. I thought that was the end. I don't think
Almost
it would
getting stuck.
Go ahead.
Not cool.
Yeah, getting stuck in a tight, rocky crevice, that's terrifying.
You never answered. What were your best and worst moments?
Me?
Everybody else, Sharon? Yes, you.
Best moment. Oddly, is really early on. I think it was the Willem fight in town.
When we took Theron's hold?
No, jumping off the roof in town.
Oh, in Freeport.
Yeah,
That was
I
so
don't know
fast.
why. That always stuck with me. It's just I don't know.
That
One
was,
of my favorite. really.
That was when we learned that you were functionally invincible. You literally jumped off a 3-story building and landed right on Willem, and then you got up.
I don't know why. It stuck with me.
I don't know how Willem would have gotten. He was alive, which is crazy to me.
Worst thing. I don't know. That's a hard one. I think it was probably been said before, but the ship sinking and losing my glaive at the same time, just kind of like that entire.
Oh sure.
Section.
Ship sinking and then spending like 4 or 5 days stuck on Montauban, wandering through the forest with me. Yeah, that was rough.
Well, I mean, losing my glaive, not being sure where everybody was, not being sure if anybody was going to die to like baby teeth at any point in time. Just that anxiety of anybody being ambushed at any point in time.
Yeah. I think we have similar opinions about Montauban, it sounds like.
You guys got short end of the stick. Me and Barnaby were like pretty good.
Yeah, we were pretty fine.
Yeah.
That's great to hear.
Well,
just flashing back to a week of trauma. Yeah, we were up the coast.
Yeah, Lauren casted water breathing on us, and yeah, we didn't have a terrible time. I remember yelling at the jungles and telling it to fuck off, but that was the big thing.
I do kind of wonder what happened to that weird. I mean, whatever's left of that ship we found.
I mean, didn't Alexia...
Got a screwdriver out of it.
That's true. That is where you got that.
Didn't Alexia and Gideon go look at it?
I don't think so. I think we did mention it to Gideon. But pretty sure the Eastern Alliance, or perhaps Enegard, got to it first.
Well, you guys gave the maintenance manual to the East Alliance.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's true.
That's something.
I remember that.
Okay. Anything else we want to talk about before we wrap up this scene?
I'm out of questions for Burberry. So.
Bar.
What?
Uppies.
What?
You cut out super bad. What'd you say?
Uppies.
Uppies?
I am terribly wasted, and unfortunately, both halves are, so neither of us can walk.
I picked them up.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
All right then.
But Barbie, I said this once, I'm gonna say again, thanks for keeping an eye on me whenever I'm being dumb.
I almost got to make sure you get a good night's rest.
That's still very nice of you.
You're welcome.
What is split sickle?
I'll pass for this time. I'm full on a gumbo bar. That's still
I'll
sitting
take
in my gut.
What is that?
I'll take it.
Here you go.
Noelle rolled a nat 20 on these, so she loves them.
Here, you can have 2.
Oh, thank you.
So, it sounds as though the conversation is winding down.
Indeed.
You guys would be able to sit and talk and carouse and eat for however many hours you guys want to stay there. I think you're spending enough money over the course of it that it's not going to be an issue. They're not going to kick you out. Flavor-wise, I'm just going to say intermittently, I think there might be some interruptions. There's like knocks at your little compartment door as, adventuring parties periodically filter up to see if it is actually the Lost Emeralds. There's probably a conversation there. People just happy to shake hands, hear out, maybe try and suss out what it is that you're doing in town. A lot of curious looky-loos, but they won't linger any longer than you're willing to tolerate them.
Sure.
Is there anything you guys would want to do with the rest of your day? Because it's probably like 1 PM at this point.
Take a really long nap in Barnaby's arms.
Okay, napping in Barnaby's arms.
I mean, I don't have anything specific, but I do think Noelle would linger around Burberry today, just because I think it's maybe the last day she'll see them as Burnberry. So it's kind of a novel thing to sort of take in on this day.
That's
They're
right.
sleeping right now.
Have a party.
It's a good call.
Fair.
I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, you can make time. Any preferences on sleeping arrangements for the night?
I feel like the East Diocese has got to be real comfy. That was called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough then. You guys would be able to make your way back up there whenever you're ready to turn in for the night. And I think that the Castellan, who you've met previously, this very large orcish priest named Lack, Father Lack, he would actually be kind of on the lookout for you guys when you got back up to the campus. And he would say, "It's a pleasure to see you all again. The Cardinal has given me directions as you are to be housed in our guests' wing until tomorrow. So if you are ready to at least see the rooms, I can take you there."
Sure.
And he'll lead you back into the little palace where you would find, on the second floor, different wing from the Cardinal's apartment wing. Guest suites had been cleaned up and opened up and arranged for you guys. Not really as ritzy as the Chateau in Freeport. It's relatively minimal in its decoration, but the furnishings are comfortable. You know, cushy seating, large table, you know, well-furnished kitchen, and very big plush beds. With maybe a handful of sort of religious icons, kind of these like metal cutouts of, you know, the blade through the heart of Ao and the sword and the helmet of Jonan Sven, kind of hanging on the wall.
Cool.
Nothing big, nothing flashy, but very livable, very comfortable. And you would each have been afforded a room in this wing, and Father Lack would be able to provide you with keys.
Okay.
So you are free to come and go as you please.
Very hospitable of you, thank you.
Is there anything that I can get for you in the meantime?
I'm good. And probably just water. Don't want to have a hangover in the morning.
Of course. I'll have some sets up your way.
Extra pillows and blankets.
It has already been arranged, Master Burberry.
Yes.
Good service here.
Yeah, you would find in your room there's a pile on the bed waiting for you.
Oh, I'm gonna make the biggest motherfucking blanket for it.
Yeah. I mean, the days y'all have to do with what you will. Outside of getting you guys the rooms and your keys, the Castellan is not going to be like in your space. He's there if you need him. He's around.
I think given that Noelle's probably a little buzzed in the afternoon, this would be the opportunity where she'd pull Lauren aside and just be like, "Okay, so I gotta tell you about Aldrin."
Oh, Aldrin, you say?
So there's this guy that we met on our. I'll start with this. I invited him to the thing, you know.
Oh, okay.
He's this guy we met who, at first, he was a little he was very forward. But he was clearly interested, and so I was like, okay, well, put a pin in that. We'll see where that goes. And he ended up being kind of a sweetheart. He was a little dumb, but he was very... he wore his heart on his sleeve, which I think I kind of have a soft spot for.
Okay.
Oh, that's not the only thing you wore on a sleeve.
I don't know what that means, but
I know what he means.
High five.
The delay was perfect there. But anyway, he looked like this, and Noel's going to transform into him.
Oh. Wait, let me see.
Oh, Lauren's reaction.
Yeah, we'll see the Lawrence.
Oh god, you better think it's I'm going to feel like an asshole.
Oh, she rolled a 19. She's like,
Okay.
damn!
Yeah, you see why I invited him.
Okay. Adler, are you good with that?
I can work with that.
Okay, cool. Anyway, continue.
Noel will continue to explain some of the cool stuff that he did, the adorable stuff that he did, and the dumb stuff that he did. Give Lauren as full of paint a picture as full as she can of who Aldrin was. I mean, we spent like 60 days with him, so we got to know each other pretty well.
It sounds like a kind of people.
I feel like you would have gotten along with him really well, Lauren. I don't know. There was something about him.
Yeah, wonder why.
So why didn't you did not get the honorary Lost Emeralds invitation then?
No, he did.
Didn't. Oh.
That was how I started the story.
Then where is he?
He lives in the Feywild.
Oh.
So, who knows? It might be like... he might be waiting for years. I don't know how time works, but... I get the sense that where he's at, time flows a little more normally. So, I don't think he'll be waiting too long.
Okay.
But I just wanted you to know, because I invited someone and I technically didn't tell you. So,
I just told you I invited Alexi and Gideon, right?
I knew about Alexi. I knew Gideon was an option, but I didn't think you would ever... I figured that would be an instant no.
I just wanted to see his...
Did he say no?
No, he didn't, actually.
Really?
Oh.
I think Noelle blushes a little bit because she did have a crush on Gideon early on. Okay. Good to know.
Yep. Didn't say no.
He didn't say
I
no.
was genuinely shocked. I thought
He was just being polite, right? There's no way Gideon's actually gonna come.
He also has true sight, which means he knows exactly what everyone looks like.
That's true.
We'll have to see what happens.
Alright, fair enough. Well, that's all the things that I think, on the silly docket that need to be doing.
Next time you see him, you could ask him, though.
Ask him...
Have you thought about it anymore?
Maybe I will.
Yeah. Maybe if we're both fast. Be more.
I see what you're getting at.
Please, Gideon.
That's what the boob window's for, my friend.
Squishes them together. Oh, my little window. Is it cold?
So, are you going to come to the orgy?
What?
This is Buzz Noel, man.
This is their conversation. They're just squishing their tits together going, oh, Gideon, please join us.
Sitting around the coffee table.
This is how you guys decompress the night before. A literal soul search.
Just air out everything.
Fuck it. It's all on the table.
Punk.
Do you think Burberry would want to join? Hey, Burberry!
What is that?
Noelle does like a fucking backflip out of that space.
Burberry, would you like to join me and Noelle in an orgy?
You get 2 opposing answers.
I think Noelle cast a message to Alora for whatever nook she found to hide in. You might have to wait until after they're back together.
Oh, that was a terrible time to take a bite of pear. I almost choked on that.
Oh my god.
I'll ask you after this is all said and done. How about that?
Wow.
Okay.
Wilden. Alright. With that, I think now is the time to take our break.
Sure.
This is almost 10 my time, 11 y'all's time. We haven't had a break yet. So give it 10 minutes, and we will be back at the top of the hour to start the ritual.
Okay. Boom, we're back.
So, come morning, the 57th of Solern. It is cloudy outside your windows as you wake this morning. The sky is gray, overcast, and you are awoken by knocks to each of your doors. And standing at the ready, there is a servant with a small sealed envelope for each of you. And
Okay.
in each of those envelopes, very simple instructions. At your earliest convenience, the Crystal Tower.
Why did this need to be a letter? Well, let's
Why
go.
should we need to come to this meeting?
Couldn't he have just said that? Okay.
He could have.
What's up?
I thought this was like an orgy invite or something.
Another one?
There's just so many going on.
So, after readying yourselves and making your way across the campus, you would eventually find yourselves stepping to the large double doors of that tall, conservatory-topped tower. Not too dissimilar from the other conclave observatory you've visited, Burberry, although it's a good deal bigger, taller, much more ornate. The doors are very clearly old, worn by time. These metal and patinaed, like deeply engraved with images of saints and other holy figures kind of recessed into the alcoves of the door. There is one priest standing waiting outside, and as you guys approach, he begins to like open the door a crack and beckons to you all. It's like, the lost emeralds, correct? They're waiting for you upstairs.
Right.
And he will allow you all inside. And as you file in, the ground floor appears to be a classroom. And again, Burberry, you're kind of struck by the familiarity. It's kind of nostalgia that washes over you, seeing it again. Very similar to the classroom you attended back in seminary. Lots of seating that kind of like ripples down to a lectern and a big board. But there are stairs on either side of this tower that kind of wrap up to the next floor. And as you begin to ascend, the priest kind of lingers behind and turns to the door and lowers this very large, heavy metal bar across the entryway. And as he kind of hurries to catch up to you, he says, just so you're not disturbed for all this.
Sure. As we're walking, Noel's just gonna put a hand on Burberry's shoulder. Just kind of give him a soft smile.
Burberry will say, "Oh, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it."
I know. I can tell you're nervous.
Oh, I'm not the one who's nervous. That one's the one that's nervous.
Inside check. Well, it's a good thing we're not doing anything today because I'm rolling garbage. That's 10 total.
Probably being honest.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. You guys will make yourselves up a couple flights of stairs. You will pass what looks like a sort of like a wide, open, sort of like a training room or dance studio almost. Mirrors along the wall, like wooden paneled floor, but there are glyphs clearly visible, kind of etched into the floor, and you would recognize this Burberry as one of the kind of practice chambers when you're first learning to channel divine energy. Very, very similar to your experience in seminary. There's a couple of these over the next couple of floors until you reach the fourth floor. And here you find yourselves kind of crossing the landing In front of you, there's another curved staircase that runs along the wall. But on the inside of the tower, the inside wall, there is this large open archway. And inside, a somewhat unnatural seeming sort of darkness. You're kind of looking through and finding it somewhat hard to actually see in here, despite several of you having dark vision. It's like staring at a wall of kind of black velvet. But as you sort of falter to a stop, the priest says, you can go ahead inside, it's perfectly safe. And he'll literally just walk straight through it as though it weren't even there. And
what kind of sorcery is this?
Barnaby gets stuck outside.
It's black magic, Barnaby.
Oh, I ain't going near that.
It's a pun, come on.
What do you mean a pun? What kind of pun is that?
It's literally a black... come on.
Okay, so dragging Barnaby by his heels inside.
Black magic, all pretense went out. You spooked them.
As soon as you cross the threshold, that darkness completely lifts away, and you find yourselves in another of these circular sort of practice rooms, mirrors along the walls, wooden floor. But this one has clearly been very heavily modified. You see, kind of busying themselves, kind of making the final preparations. Cardinal Tarian among them, as well as an older Furbolg woman, an elven man who you would recognize as the head archivist at the Athenaeum, and a black dragonborn man. And they are sort of in the process of arranging these large sconces where blocks of incense have just been piled inside. There's a very large, very elaborate circle that has been sort of sprinkled onto the ground like a giant sand mandala. But as you step towards it, there's a handful of lights in the room, just kind of around the periphery. You can see this material, whatever this particle is, glittering in that light as you step over it. And as you sort of take in the circle, you can see that there are 5 small sort of smaller circles inlaid around the perimeter that sort of have all of these lines converging onto a central circle. And they are each filled with a fairly thick blanket and a pillow that have been laid out on the ground inside. And as you step into the room, you see the cardinal look up and say, good morning, everyone. Mind your step. We do not want to disturb the glyph work.
This is gorgeous.
Thank you. It should do the trick. Supposing we've read the manuals correctly. How are we feeling this morning, Burberry? You ready?
Yes.
Good.
Well, he's gonna start he'll actually take off gear so that he can sit, like both of them can sit.
Of course. So this is going to be a process. If each of you will just very carefully step into a circle, Burberry, obviously you in the center, make yourselves comfortable, lie down. You will be in this position for the foreseeable future until you either come out of it or
die.
Some terrible misfortune happens. Yes.
Do we need to take off our gear or anything?
However you're most comfortable. You're probably going to feel it when you wake up. So
room to lay out a bedroll in my circle.
There's a blanket and a pillow set up for
okay.
each of you
That's
in the
nice.
circles.
Well, I probably won't carry my backpack. Sure, we'll get in our position, I guess.
Now, typically with astral projection, you will be carrying whatever you have on you at the time the spell is cast with you as a sort of psychic impression of itself in your possession. So whatever you intend to have with you in the dream space, keep on your person. Just make yourself comfortable.
Noelle will go back and grab her backpack. She's not gonna lay on it though. She's gonna like wrap it between her arms and just kind of lay on her back.
Good call.
There we go.
The Furbolg woman is going to approach you, Burberry. She's going to kneel down. She's several feet taller than you. Like it's a process to kind of get down to eye level. She'll extend a small hand and nod her head. She'll say, Chisatra Evandrim. I am the arcanist in charge of the Crystal Tower here. I'm told that you had aspirations to join the Court of Stars at one point. Is that true?
Well, sort of.
Oh, I would be eager to speak with you more when you have time, after this is all said and done. I understand that what you've done is technically against protocol. She'll lean in and kind of whisper this to you, but I can't deny that I'm not curious.
I did actually submit a book of my findings to the one in Pharaoh. I can get you a copy if you'd like.
That'd be excellent. Yes, please. Thank you. She'll pat both of your shoulders, very large hands on this woman, and then she stands back up. Maybe like a couple inches taller than John, honestly, as she's walking around. Tall, purple lady, yeah. The Black Dragonborn man is going to be making the rounds to each of you as you're sort of circling, or as you're sort of settling into your circles. He has this little clay pot of some very pungent floral scented oil. And he's taking this brush and kind of dipping it and saying, "Hold still, please," as he begins to anoint each of your brows with a sequence of runes in this oil. And as he does, he's asking, "Any discomfort? Have you removed anything from your back? You're certainly going to feel that when you wake up. If you haven't, any daggers, anything on your belts, by all means remove them now. You won't have a chance after this starts."
Why would I want to remove it?
Because it's going to hurt when you wake up if you've been laying on it for a week.
Don't lay on it.
Oh, okay, she'll just hug your little staff.
Yeah.
Her big staff, which I feel like towers over.
This oil smells weird.
It is important that your minds be open to the experience.
Is this like drugs? Fuck yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
They are mildly psychoactive, as he continues to anoint your brows.
Oh, Lauren's like, alright, can I get some extra?
Can I get the recipe?
I'm not joking, Lauren's probably asked.
The dosage is very carefully calibrated to ensure a safe transition.
Just do a little dabble do, you know?
Just put a little on my tongue before we
Come on, I can handle it. I do a lot of drugs.
You see the Dragonborn man as he like finishes with you. You see him kind of gesture towards the kind of younger priests, the elf men standing at the door, and you don't hear him say anything. But you can definitely see he's mouthing something to him as he's pointing at you, and then he stands up and continues walking around the circle.
Can I try to hear what he said?
Yeah, give me a perception check.
20. 30.
He is very clearly mouthing, "Watch this one."
You don't need to watch me, I'm fine.
He just glances over his shoulder at you with a cocked eyebrow before continuing on to Adlar. Adlar's just like laughing to himself in his circle. He's like, "Sir, please quit moving. You might jostle them under." As he continues to annoy him. You watch as the archivist, the elven woman you recognize as Zinhuri's Kino. You met her once before, a long time ago. She is kind of circling the room right now, igniting each of the braziers containing the mounds of incense. And very, very quickly, this very pungent smoke is beginning to kind of fill the room. And once they're all lit, and once you have each been anointed, Cardinal Tarian circles the runes once more and hands each of you a small stone.
I'm not feeling anything, yes. Will this make me feel something?
You're about to feel it. Hold on to this. As he hands you this like blood red little crystal, like bright, it's shiny, it's not like cut or polished necessarily, but you can tell this is clearly like a very hefty, valuable amount of gem that he's handing. And as he does, he pulls out this silver tablet from a bag along the side of the wall. And holding it, he kind of directs the other three senior priests in the room to the cardinal points of the circle. And he says, "All right, final call. Everyone ready?"
I still don't feel anything. Are you sure the drugs are working?
Burberry?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Noel will just say, "I'll see you soon, Barberry."
Remember, you're looking to establish some level of control over your locus, your third eye. You take control of it from Krong, somehow. Particulars don't matter, just find a way. If I can make a recommendation, I would get a little deeper in before you start any work. He might see you if you stick too close to the surface.
third got 4 between us. Not that kind of third eye.
All right. Let us begin. And you will watch as he sets the silver plate down at the ground and he raises his arms high overhead in either direction, and the other priests mimic his posture and they begin to incant. And you recognize the celestial, Burberry. You can recognize the language, but the sequence, the phrasing here is deeply, deeply archaic. This is pronunciation, this is phrasing that just does not... This is like listening to someone chanting in like Old English, right? Like, you can tell it's related to the celestial you know, but this is old magic being recited here. And for the first few minutes, you don't hear or feel or see much of anything changing in the room. You see the smoke cooling on the ceiling. You feel that kind of slick, cool sensation of the oils on your forehead. You can feel the stone between your fingers. But not much is happening.
I'm telling y'all, these drugs ain't working. Sorry.
Hey, we were drugs.
The younger priest has like sidled around the room to you, and he's like, shh. He like shushes you.
I feel just like, what? It's not working.
Let them cook.
They're cooking, and they ain't doing shit.
They ain't cooking. I'm the only cook around here.
Wait, Barbie, you're really doing drugs right now?
The priests are continuing to kind of chant as they're holding their hands up around you. The junior priest trying to maintain some semblance of peace. Around the 10-minute mark, kind of out of the corners of your eyes, you do begin to perceive this faint glowing light from beneath you, from around you. And kind of turning your head a little bit, you can see that the particulate that composes the circles and the runes between them is beginning not just to glitter, but to shine with a light of its own. And over the next 5 minutes, that light grows. At the 20-minute mark, the light is now filling the room, casting these long, dark shadows across the walls from each of the priests around the circle. And the smell of the incense is honestly starting to get a little heady. Your vision's starting to swim.
Oh, here we go, guys.
It's starting to hit. And I think Adlar definitely made eye contact with you from his circle. He's like, yeah, it's starting.
Yeah. Guys, it's happening.
Yes, we can tell.
After
Sorry.
half an hour, you are definitely feeling the influence of something very potent. For the experienced aficionados in the room, this is almost lifting you up off the ground. You're feeling kind of the weight of your body begin to fall away, and your vision is starting to kind of rise and reverberate against the ceiling, against the shapes of your friends around you. Like they're starting to sort of trail and trace. You're starting to see these bright pops of color begin to kind of smudge across your vision. And all the while, the sounds of the priest's voices chanting grows. The volume seems to intensify. Although they haven't moved, they haven't changed their posture, they're maintaining their position, but you feel their voices deep in your chests, like reverberating, bassy. And at this point, you've lost track of time. You are awash in color, in pungent, rich incense, in the deep, rhythmic chanting of the figures, the silhouettes now, shadows through the mist, through the haze of this incense. And all the while, you feel your body seeming to float further and further up into the air. Although you still haven't left the chamber, you're pretty sure. But as cloudy as it is, you can't even see the ceiling anymore. The whole of you is just enraptured by this sensory overload. And the light continues to grow from these runes. Until finally, and you're not sure when it happened, but at some point or another, you realize you can't hear the priests anymore. You're staring at this hazy white cloud, this mist, this blanket of fog overhead. Brighter and thicker than you recall the incense being. You kind of feel the ground beneath your hand again, kind of becoming aware that it's still there. You're still resting against something as light as your body feels. But the texture's changed. Where before you felt smooth, hard wood, now there is this sort of softness, like snow. It's not cold. You don't feel any temperature, truth be told. But it's quiet. cloudy. The colors have faded. The sounds have faded. The smell of the incense has faded away. And you are lying on the ground.
Can we see ourselves? Can we look around?
Yeah, I mean, you look at your hand,
Yeah.
and it looks like your hand, although you kind of puzzling, you don't really see the contour of your fingers or your knuckles. You can't really see any shadow to speak of as you sort of turn your hands over. It's just kind of this pale silhouette.
Get up.
Okay. So you begin to stand up. And the ground's solid enough, although it does kind of deform very readily as you kind of press your hand against it, set your feet down. And standing up, you are definitely not in the tower anymore. This space is filled with this brilliant white fog, this cloud. But as your eyes begin to kind of adjust to the brightness of it, you begin to pick up little spots of color here and there overhead as these distant clouds begin to kind of take form, drifting by, and you can see through the gaps of them this distant kind of silvery color speckled with what look like stars. And from your feet, you see this landscape kind of stretching out around you. You're standing on a hilltop. Not a terribly tall one, but definitely a prominence. And in every direction around you, you begin to see these very faint shifts of color that kind of indicate the contour of the terrain around you. You can see fields stretching out in every direction. You can see what look like mountains in the distance that kind of take on this rosy, bluish hue. And you're blinking. It's not making sense. You can't really pin down exactly what color anything is. You can't really pin down the exact distance, the exact shape, but you can tell this bright, misty place. It looks very, very real. And the longer you look, the more little details you begin to kind of make out in the contour of the place. But two things, I think, stand out to you immediately. Or not immediately, as it sort of unfolds. One thing, as your eyes adjust and you begin to kind of acclimate to the brightness, there is a streak in the sky. This perfectly vertical beam of pure white out in the distance that runs from the ground up as high as you can angle your head. And it's not this small, distant beam. It is a massive shape, like a waterfall in reverse. And second, as you continue to kind of orient yourself and look around, the ground beneath your feet, which again kind of deforms like mud or snow. Although it's bone white, it's not wet, it's dry. You feel it beginning to kind of shift unprompted. And kind of looking in the direction of, the source, you might call it, the direction sort of flowing from, it looks as though you can see a mountain not too terribly far away that is very slowly but very definitely drifting across the landscape here. What's up?
Is Burberry one person or two people right now?
Can we see each other?
Yeah, can we see each other?
Yeah, I mean, you stand up, Valorn, and you see Noelle standing there. You can definitely recognize, this is definitely Noelle, but she's almost completely, washed out. She looks as though she has been shaped of, pure pastel colors. Pure light, almost.
Didn't think it was possible for me to be more pale. And yet here we are.
You can very, faintly make out, notes of red in her cloak and her dress and her clothes, but, there is a brightness to her that you've never seen before. And Noelle looking at Lauren as she stands up. Again, very clearly a Lauren, but she is this luminous silhouette. And every now and then you kind of catch pops of color, the pinks and the paint blues, that kind of outline and contour her shade, the purple of her clothing.
You look like a sexy ghost.
Thank you. You're not too bad yourself.
I imagine the cloak sort of ruins the silhouette a little bit.
Oh. No. You're rocking it.
Thank you very much.
Where's Burberry?
Do we see the others?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Adlar begins to stand up. You recognize Adlar, even though he's very washed out compared to his usual complexion. Barnaby and John both stand up. Barnaby is...
Pink.
Please no.
Barnaby's odd. I think you can tell he's made of the same sort of light stuff that the rest of you are, but you can also tell the armor, this full suit of armor that he's always wearing, has a very clear, dark sort of sheen to it. But through the visor, you can see this bright white visual of his face that occasionally takes on these sheens of kind of pinkish red along the edges. It's odd. It's as though this place is sort of attempting to simulate this all-encompassing suit of armor he's got on, but even that's not solid steel looking. It still looks like light, even though it is darker, this kind of deep gray color. John looks like himself.
Would not consent to being drugged.
Barbie, are you pink under there?
Barnaby,
I don't want to know what I am under
I can see
there.
a little pink shining through.
Barnaby finally took drugs, guys. Aren't we proud of him?
I did not consent. I was not aware that there was paraphernalia involved.
It's a spell. It's different. It's okay.
It's a little different.
Aw, look at the little drugged out Barnaby.
I mean, in Barnaby's defense, I've also never done anything like this. Also, where's Burberry?
Also, where's Burberry? Lauren's looking around.
Berber, are you standing up, Berber, or are you still laying on the ground?
I imagine I stood up. I don't know the answer, so I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
Gonna be the
Yeah, I mean, Burberry stood up, and It's odd.
It's the fake
Oh, no.
Burberry.
Oh no, it's the Burberry tummy zombie.
Yeah.
You see now you
It's the
you see
troll
what
Burberry.
looks like probably like a 5.5, almost 6 foot tall dragonborn silhouette.
She's got a big question mark on their face.
Well, you can make out features, but only at a moment at a time. The silhouette does not hold its shape very well. There is this constant kind of smoking effect, as though whatever makes you up in this place is sort of being blown off of you.
Wait, I have to ask a question. Burr and Barry, answer differently if you can. Do you like boobs?
I think they might both like boobs.
Okay. Are you a butt guy or a boob girl guy?
Oh, please, why do we gotta get into this kind of talk?
It's confusing when to ask that question.
Hey, you know, Burr like butts, while Barry likes boobs.
I will go wandering if I have to get away from this conversation.
I am fairly sure that I would have had the same answer either way.
Oh, it's the one.
They sound like the one.
Now, question for Burberry: would they have answered that way if it was still Burr and Barry?
Yes.
Okay.
They both have the same answer to that question.
Okay.
Well, you didn't actually answer my question.
That's
Now
true.
I'm curious. I think it's boobs. What about you? I put 5 gold on boobs.
Burr is a stronger personality, so if he likes butts, then it's probably
I'm walking.
Part of it just fucking flies away.
I got drugged, and now we're just talking about.
I'm gonna go
Well,
file
Kids
talk.
and ass.
Okay, what's your favorite thing to do in your free time, Burr and Barry?
Yeah, that's a fair question.
Hold on. Listen.
While they're thinking about it, Noelle is gonna walk up closer to them. Do we walk?
Mhm.
Do we float?
You walk.
Do I have feet?
You walk. You have feet.
Okay.
Yeah, Lauren would walk closer too.
Oh, I guess
She'd
we're
be
like walking on marshmallows.
Yeah.
This is really soft. I could fucking nap here for
I
ages.
know.
Oh my
It's way
god.
softer than the bedroll.
Yeah. Whew.
What was the question again?
What
Okay.
does
Free time?
Burr and Barry like to do in their free time? And I asked if that's Burr and Barry, or is it Burr?
You hear the responses drink and read happen simultaneously.
And as they say that, you watch as this silhouette of a single dragonborn very rapidly begins to kind of like flicker and shake and oscillate between the single Burberry and the 2 miniature silhouettes of Burr and Barry.
Oh. Oh, Lauren, you
And
broke
as soon
them.
as
I'm
they finish
so sorry.
speaking, they snap back together.
Okay, so we can break them. Let's not ask them any complicated questions.
That is
That's
fair.
what a Lord just learned. I almost broke Burberry.
Do they?
No
So
more
when
talk.
they reform back into like a tall version, but like
Mm-hmm. But it's constantly again. It almost looks like it's on fire. Like there's just these constant wafting of this light stuff off of them.
do we have physicality? Can I like touch my arm?
No, you
I
just
didn't
touched
cut myself
yourself.
off in
It's
time. I
fine.
didn't cut
Barnaby's a
myself
mile
off.
away. Like I'm so glad I left.
My arm.
Noel, what are
I
you
don't know
doing?
where I'm going, but
Burn-
I'm
Burberry's-
happy I ain't there.
You can touch your arm.
Okay. Cut
It is solid to the touch, although it does not feel like skin. It does not feel warm. It does not feel pliant or textured the same way skin does.
It's more marshmallow.
It feels like more marshmallow, although much more solid than the ground.
Stale marshmallows, got it. I would put a hand out to the burb. I don't know what to call you.
Burberry would be fine.
Oh, it's one
Wait,
voice.
do you
Lauren's
feel?
like,
Are you
damn.
there? Can I grab your hand?
Can I touch you too?
Laura's just third wheeling it right now.
You watch as the shape flickers again into the two. One of them is like sticking a hand out. The other one's like, hands up.
All right.
That feels about right.
So Lauren's like, okay, I'm gonna bring Burberry. I'm gonna go over here. Hey, I'm Lauren. Can I touch you?
He puts a hand on your face too. Just fucking sticks it. It's like, you do not feel like yourself.
You feel weird too.
Yeah.
All right, you guys can continue. Lauren, third wheeling's gone now.
I was just offering a hand to see if it was one hand that reached out or two. That's all.
Imagine it would be one in this particular situation.
I think there's maybe like a split second where you feel this form flicker and the hand contracts and a second hand like instantaneously grips the back of yours, Noelle. And then again, the back together into a single figure. It definitely looks as though Burberry is much more unstable than the rest of you.
I'm getting
in
that
his shape.
sense. You look good.
Thank you. We should probably start heading deeper, right?
Yeah, we can find out what that means exactly.
Head towards the moving mountain?
I suppose so. Or that beam of light.
Beam of light sounds right.
I gotta say, Burberry, your soul is pretty beautiful. I mean,
You get-
quite literally, we're walking through a gorgeous landscape. We all just wake up, the whole thing breaks. Whoops.
Burberry's bifurcating real hard right now.
That seems inappropriate.
You're inappropriate.
It means splitting.
I know, just the way you said it. I really meant that in an innocent way. You just described a beautiful landscape.
No. So the Barry response is to like be a little shy about it and say thanks, and the Burr response is to say something catty. So they're like
They're at odds with each other.
I'll be careful what I say to you. Let's go.
Yeah, Lauren can't talk to Burberry, is what I just learned.
Well, no, I was gonna say we should sit and ask them questions, but I just gave them a compliment and they freaked out too.
Yeah. I love you, Burberry, but if I don't talk to you, it's nothing personal. I just don't want to break you.
It looks painful.
If it helps, it doesn't feel painful.
Well, that's good to know.
It looks a little scary, though, that you're just gonna...
Yeah, like, your whole body like twitches and contorts. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it's kind of scary looking. Very scary and such nice surroundings.
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. As I said, I'm just trying not to break you.
So,
We'll start moving.
with that, yeah, you start walking. Which way are you heading then? Out to the open, out towards the mountain, out towards the light? What's the thought?
The light.
Can you remind, I guess, DM or Cat, depending on who remembers better, the structure of the soul? It was psyche, something.
Psyche, memory, spirit.
Do you think that translates to like, there's deeper cores? Does that mean literal down in here? Or the closest equivalent we could find? Or like, because climbing a mountain feels like, or like going to the outer edge, right? I don't know, just... Just trying to figure things out. As we're walking, I
Spitballing.
guess, yeah.
Sure. Just so y'all can see what's happening over here.
It's kitty playtime.
I just looked up and that cat was making the most aggressive face at that word.
Cute.
Okay, so yeah, with that, I think heading towards the light. As you guys are walking, you definitely don't feel the fatigue you would expect. You don't feel soreness in your feet. You don't feel hot from the exertion. You don't feel the ache of your muscles as you move. You move fairly effortlessly, although you do still seem to conform to kind of your expected
Can we
sort of
find
bodily functions as you begin to move about in this space. But as you advance towards the column of light, there are
3 bears?
3 things. Did you just say 2? Or did you say 3?
3
I
bears.
said 3 bears.
There are 3 things, excuse me,
Those things are
that
bears.
will become apparent to you. The mountain that is sort of crawling across the landscape off to your right. As you watch kind of through the distant haze of those kind of white clouds obscuring that distant silver sky, you see the clouds kind of parting, and you see that the mountain does not really like taper down from a peak the way you'd expect. It kind of keeps climbing upward higher and higher and higher. And as you watch the clouds further and further and further up overhead continue parting, you see the mountain sort of bending. And you watch as this massive, like, planetoid sized object, this rocky mass, is very slowly just kind of careening across the surface of this landscape, kind of just pushing through the clouds and gouging into the ground a few miles off. It's not making any sound. There's not really any real signs of violent destruction outside of, you can tell, like, the ground is being torn open. You can see rocks being kind of like thrown up into the air and sort of just starting to float away.
I bet that's him.
Koran?
Mm-hmm.
But there is, as you look at it, this second sort of landscape that is smashing across the first, the one that you're standing on currently. The second
Well-
thing...
We were
Go.
told to avoid that asshole.
True.
Good thing we didn't go towards the mountain.
I wonder what the second thing is.
The second thing that you notice, as you draw closer to the beam of light, Aloran, and I think Burberry has the second highest passive, or is it Noel?
I think it might
It's
be Noel
Noel.
now.
Is it?
I think it's Noel.
Passive perception?
Yes.
18?
Yeah, mine's only like 13.
Okay, so Aloran and Noel.
My passive is 24.
Yeah, Aloran would notice first. As always. You two would actually become aware, as you're walking towards that beam, that there is one small break in what is otherwise this perfectly bright, solid white rush of light up into the sky. There is a shadow at the base of the beam, vaguely humanoid in shape, and towering, even at this distance, very clearly towering over the lot of you.
Okay.
I bet that's Koron,
That
actually.
feels more like a Koron to me. I've already chosen wrong, and there was only one choice.
I chose wrong too. So give us our third option. Is our third option?
What's the
actually
third thing
Koron?
we see?
Yeah.
The third thing you see,
Our
thankfully,
three
with your passive
bears.
perceptions, you are aware of this thing, or things really, as they begin to rise out of the landscape around you.
Friends?
Bears.
We're stuck on the...
Wolves.
Damn it! Come on, make it bears.
You see, almost like they're sort of almost forming out of the same snowy light material as the ground. These very large, like horse-sized wolfen silhouettes beginning to stand up on a nearby ridge, not too far away from you. And as they do, their forms begin to sort of darken, grow semi-translucent, but you see on each of them a pair of these brilliant, like technicolor eyes just flash open. And soundlessly, these 6 creatures begin bounding towards the party. So, we are going to pick up there next time with an initiative roll,
Maybe they're friendly.
and
Hello,
we'll see what
cats.
happens.
Speak with animals. Balk, balk, balk. Go away.
That's chicken. These are dogs. You fail.
No, I said bark, bark, bark.
Oh, I thought you
It
said
did sound
balk.
like balk. Balk,
Bark,
balk, balk.
bark, bark.
Whatever, it's all
Go
good.
away.
Thing.
So, we will pick up there next time.
Alright, cool.
So yeah, we did it. We're up a little early just because starting on combat at
That's fair.
11:50 p.m. sounds like a bad idea. So
6 wolves, we can kill them real quick. Just give me Kona
Just a
Cold.
little hypnotic pattern, kind of cold.
Mindscape wolves, they're different.
They're mind wolves.
Burberry, imagine
Cool.
they're gone.
Ooh,
That's how it works,
normal wild
Is it just
shape.
me, or are they getting bigger?
Wild shape into a wolf and talk dog. Bark, bark, bark.
Way to enunciate that time.
So can we get an MVP vote for today?
I mean, it's gotta be Burberry, right?
All right, then,
Well,
Burberry,
Yes.
take your extra RP point.
Yeah.
I was gonna pitch actually. I've been doing it with Tomb, and I think it's worked fine. What if we just make the MVP vote? Just that's the inspiration.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Okay, Burberry, if you don't have inspiration yet, take inspiration.
Can you guys believe that we started the RP point thing to encourage people to RP? How silly is that? Like we even need the fucking encouragement.
Not at this point.